Hey everyone, welcome to our channel, and thank you for your support. If there's a favorite novel on the channel and you want the next part, you're just one step away. Become a Patreon member and I can make it depending on your tier. Thank you for your attention.
Although she hasn't seen her face clearly. From the aspects of clothing Hidek, Jin Huiyuan has roughly judged who is opening the door. After all, there is the barrier set up by Asia's no. One disaster. And the number of people who can enter this villa is very limited. Killer Xiaoyu was originally an unknown person who was only performing a mission on a small prank website. He became famous for killing Phantom. Now he is recognized as one of the strongest killer candidates in the world. Kim Yuan herself has only hit the throne of the strongest killer. So she has always regarded Xiaoyu as an opponent. Now she is covered in cuts and bruises. The chrysanthemum is still stuffed with foreign objects. And the space teleportation is also suppressed. It is impossible to be Xiaoyu's opponent. So I can only watch the other party manipulate the water to lift himself up and return to the living room of the villain. Xiaoyu, why are you back? Xiaomin Qing found Xiaoyu the first time. I forgot to take my homework, Xiaogu said. What's wrong with you? Who is this person? I don't know, it's Xiao Riao brought it back. Xiaomin Qing also realized that she still didn't know the identity of this big lowly. But she could report their information so preciously. Even hidden very secretly. The identity of the charter wife is known. And the origin is certainly not simple. Xiaogu looked at Qin Yuya with her again. She was still skeptical about life at this time. I kept muttering, am I a pervert? I am not a pervert, am I? I am a pervert, am I a pervert, am I perverted? It's over, this child is going to be broken. Xiaomin Qing said with a headache. At this time you have to take strong medicine. I saw that she suddenly reached out and grabbed Qin Yuyao's black silk leggings. And then pulled it to her knees with a swish, little Riao. Let my sister see what color you are wearing today, huh? Is this black? Xiaomin Qing looked intently. And then stepped back, clutching his nose even. Not wearing it, Qin Yuyao also recovered from this action. She only felt chilly below, and when she looked down, she realized that her leggings had been stripped. After 3 seconds of silence, a scream that resounded across the sky instantly spread out in all directions. Centered on the hilltop of Ziliang Demon Village. Almost at the same time, all the power systems in the entire Xiaokong city were paralyzed instantly. The battery cars exploded one after another. And even the car radio blew on. This is more than that. The scope is still expanding. The 2 provinces adjacent to Xiaokong City have also begun to experience power failures. Later, nearly 8 provinces in the eastern part of Huiguo have been affected. This is not simply a power outage, but that everything related to electricity can no longer be used. The mobile phone can't be turned on. Some special brands directly explode, all generators fail. And even the lighter in that kind of lighter can't flash. Of course, Ziliang Demon Village was the one that was most affected. The powerful electric interference directly caused everyone to numb their scalp. Jin Huiyun, who had just been electrified, became an explosive head. And white smoke started to flow out of her mouth. Fuck. Song Yunhua, who was the closest, was quick with eyes and hands, and quickly pushed Qin Yuyao. The scream stopped abruptly, and Qin Yuyao also recovered. Xiao Yuyao, stop it, Song Yunwu shouted, huh. Qin Yuyao was stunned for a moment, but after this stunned, her violent power suddenly stopped at the same time. All the previously disturbed areas returned to normal. It took only 5 seconds before and after. But the losses caused by it were already quite terrifying. Qin Yuyao quickly put on her pants. What happened to me just now? Song Yunwu was also a little dazed. I don't know. But I feel something has happened, Xiaomin love. What are you idiot zombie doing to death? Oh my pot. Xiaomin Qing pointed at herself, dumbfounded. How did she feel that she had become a pot stone recently? All pots are flying over her head. Just then, the faucet in the kitchen was suddenly turned on, and splashing water came out. The water did not enter the water pipe, but flew into the air to condense the upper body of a person. Just like the genie in Aladdin, look at that appearance. It is Jiang Jianhong, ancestor of the Jiang family. What's the matter? He looked around and finally stared at Ximen Qing. Look at what I am doing. Ximen fell in love, do you want me to take the blame? There was a large-scale power outage in the entire eastern region just now. This level of disaster can only be caused by the 8 evils. Jiang Jianhong stared at her. And the source of the matter is on this mountain. It's not, wait a minute, yes, it's me, what do you want? Ximen Qing originally wanted to deny it, but thought that if Qin Yuyao was to blame for this matter, a little girl who had not graduated from university would be worth it. Live just come by yourself anyway. There is no worries about the pot, what else lose money? Jiang Jianhong said. Do you know that the most developed area in Huiguo is the problem that just happened? Do you know how big the disaster is caused by the power outage for 5 seconds? The hospital's medical equipment. Various high-precision instruments of the Institute of Science and Technology. Etc. www novelmtl. Com. How many people will face danger to their lives in these 5 seconds? How much precious data is lost, how much property is lost? Dead. Qin Yuyao couldn't help asking after listening. Jiang Jianhong glanced at her and said no. Fortunately, I happened to be here. Although there was a lot of loss in property, everyone was saved. Jiang Jianhong's ability is water. The water source in the entire eastern region is quite abundant. So he can turn into tens of millions almost instantly to save those who are in danger. Qin Yuyao breathed a sigh of relief when she heard this. But she was still very sorry. Because she knew that even if Ximen Qing was willing to take the blame for her, she couldn't just accept it so comfortably. The debt this time seems a bit too big. Just tell me how much is it? Ximen asked Jiang Jianhong with affection. There are no statistics yet, but I have a rough estimate. The 11 digits upwards are certain. Jiang Jianhong said lightly, 10, 11. Ximen Qing counted with his fingers, 10 billion. Jiang Jianhong gave an affirmative nod. It's not worth that much for me to sell you. She was still happy for making hundreds of thousands of her a few days ago. But now she is about to become a tens of billions Ajani. It must be her, it's all her fault. It must be her appearance that made herself so unlucky. Ximen Qing finally understood the mood of Luna Jones after she destroyed Australia. All this is Ajani's fault. Song Yunwoo probably guessed what she was thinking. And vomited, you want some billion. If you didn't pick Xiao Yuyao's pants, would it be like this? Ximen love, I am wronged. Qin Yuyao walked to Ximen Qing and grabbed her hand and said to her, Sister Ximen, we will work hard together in the future. What are you working hard for? Ximen Qing looked at her in horror. This stupid boy wouldn't be really ready to take up tens of billions of debts. So how could it be done? Calm down, Raya, calm down. Ximen Qing pointed to Jiang Jianhong, who was like a lamp god. I just got a little bit on the head just now. I just said it casual, just fool the iron head. I'm not ready to really pay it back. Jiang Jianhong glared at her, I heard it all, oops. Ximen Qing seemed to realize this, I was actually heard. Damn Jiang Taidu, you actually eavesdropped on us. Jiang Jianhong, MDZZ, it's okay, Sister Ximen. I thought about it, Qin Yuyao said, holding Ximen Qing's hand. As long as we live long enough. The soft sister currency will depreciate very quickly. You see, pork was only one a few decades ago. 1 jin of yuan is now 10 times higher, that is to say. In a few decades our debt burden will be reduced by 10 times. And so on, maybe more than 100 years later. We only need to be equivalent to a few hundred now. 10,000 debts will do, Jiang Jianhong. Ximen Qing touched Qin Yuyao's head with pity. This child's burst of power just now didn't make his brain damaged. Right, Riyao? There is something called the country's macro control. It is impossible for the soft sister currency to depreciate. It has been going on at this rate. And even if our debts become lighter after a few hundred years, how will we live during this period? If we don't pay it all the time, we will become Lao Lai. Zizizi tilde. An electric arc suddenly burst from Qin Yuyao's head. And she seemed to wake up suddenly. Ah. It seems like this, what did I think? It seems that this little friend has officially become the 8 evil. Jiang Jianhong said on the side. Officially become the 8 evil spirits. Qin Yuyao looked at Jiang Jianhong suspiciously. Does the 8 evil spirits still need a coronation ceremony? Jiang Jianheng now regards her as an existence of the same. So he patiently explained to her, every 8 evil spirits will often cause huge disasters when they are first known to the world. This is why it is called the 8 evil spirits instead of the 8 gods of good fortune. And such a terrifying burst of power will inevitably cause a certain impact on the body. Other places are okay. But once such a delicate organ of the brain is damaged, it simply heals itself. There must be no way to return to the way it was before. What do you mean? Another arc appeared on Qin Yuyao's head. And her thinking speed seemed to be slow. Jiang Jianheng groaned for 2 seconds. And after organizing the language, he said to her, simply Pudiu are now mentally disabled. Qin Yuyao patted her ear vigorously. I did not hear you wrong, no, Jiang Jianheng said. Of course. I have always felt that it is the world's misunderstanding of us. It's just that the brain organization has undergone some changes. How can the impact be so exaggerated? I'm still the same one I was before, and it's not a change. Being silly or stupid is purely speculation by those scientists. Yes, as Qin Yuyao nodded vigorously. And an electric arc continued to appear on his head. I haven't become a fool. I feel no different from before, even a little high. Oh. Don't care about these details, Simon said. These inferences are made by those who are afraid of our strength. And there is no reason at all. For example, do you think I am a brain dead? Qin Yuyao and Jiang Jianheng looked at each other at the same time. Then Qin Yuyao remained silent. And Jiang Jianheng said, it looks like, go you iron head. You are the first to say that the brain is disabled. Simon said angrily, your head was smashed by the mountain. Jiang Jianheng's face turned black at once. When you have time to talk about this, you should think about how to repay the debt. Our Jiang family will temporarily make up for these losses. Then I will be your creditor. Don't think about dragging it until the creditor's death. Dropped and relied on the bills, Simon Qing felt very uncomfortable, Jiang Taitu. Don't take such a game. Tens of billions of dollars are just a drop in the bucket for you. The Shen beast of the country or just forget it. My money came from a strong wind. Jiang Jianheng remained unmoved. You are also the 8 evil spirits. Your Tsingyi sect has been scattered in all corners of the society over the years. And the accumulated debts of tens of billions are not worth mentioning. Why should I forget it? Not, I have troubles. Simon Qing whispered. Tsingyi teaches that is completely her black history. She can disappear without seeing those guys. And if you let them know that they are occupying the body of their leader, how many fanatics God knows what they will do. It has nothing to do with me, Jiang Jianheng said. Aren't you working as a cartoonist now? You are also a singer, I just calculated it. According to your current popularity. If you continue to be popular, it should be in a few decades. The debt can be paid off, of course if it can be more popular. This time will be shortened. I worked so hard to draw comics, is it just to work for you? Simon said righteously. It is impossible to work part-time, then you pay me back. I don't get any money, then go to draw comics. Jiang Jianheng said also don't expect me to help you www. Novel MTL. Com if you can't pay a certain amount of money every month. I will put you on the Lao Lai list, damn. Simon Qing directly gave him a middle finger, I can see it. Jiang Taidu. You don't care about the tens of billions at all. You just want to force me to scatter them all over the society. Tsingyi teaches to find out. Jiang Jianheng also did not deny, you know who Tsingyi teaches are better than me. I am not saying to target them. But at least there must be corresponding monitoring. Otherwise it will always be a hidden danger to the society. You can pull it down, isn't it 10 billion, I just earn it. Let me show you what my Ximen love is, Hongdao follow you. Jiang Jianheng immediately turned into running water and disappeared. He didn't plan to forcibly persecute an 8 murderer. It's just a coincidence that this time. He just wanted to cheat on Ximen. Since Simon Qing is so hard-spirited, he won't make any further moves after he left. Simon Qing looked at Song Yunwu with a bitter expression, the charter wife. What should I do? Or go back and inherit your father's inheritance? And then take care of me, fuck my dad is still alive. Song Yunwoo gave her a blank look. When things are up to now, you should draw comics well. If it doesn't work, go out and become a star. I remember that a star was a tax evasion last year. She missed a full 800 million yuan. And her appearance is less than 1% of yours. Wow. You are trying to be a prostitute. Simon King is resolutely unwilling to be a female star. The circle is too dirty, oh. It seems that just one copy of Giant is really not enough. I have to open another one. Sister Ximen, do you want to draw a new cartoon? Qin Yuyao asked immediately, what theme? I think about it if you want to make money. There are a lot of money-making comics in Ximen Qing's mind. And it is not just comics. She can completely draw TV series into comics like Dragon Ball. Her current worry is not what to paint, but which one to choose. First of all, she excluded those in Europe and America. After all, the historical changes in Europe and America are not that big. There are such things as pigs, Tishni and Maui. If one is not good, it is easy to crash. When it comes to the big IP of East Asia, the first thing that came to her mind was the big three of the Dead Sea. And then the works of Doraemon Conan that can be serialized infinitely. But she didn't plan to paint these now, after all. There is a lesson from Working Cell, which made her understand that works on Earth's fire may not be able to reach the same level here. Of course, it is also possible that, like Dragon Babu, the fire is even more exaggerated than on Earth. She still hasn't figured out the standard among them very much. Need to experiment and search again and again. Before finding that standard off course, she was going to use some stable works to test. What kind of work is the most stable? Of course, it is a sub-foreign work. Children don't have as many talents as adults. As long as the colors are bright and the style is cute, almost any animation will not fall too badly. But Simon Qing didn't want to paint too naive, such as those pure children like pleasant goats and bears. So the final work she decided on was Pokémon. The main thing was that Qin Yuyao had just been electrified by Qin Yuyao, making her subconsciously associate with electricity-related works in her mind. Pokémon, the work was originally called Pocket Monster. The literal translation is Pokémon. There's also a translation of Pokémon. This is the fiercest one among the animation IPs. And everything from One Piece, Dragon Ball, Gundam, Spider-Man and Superman all ranks behind it. Because it is not only an anime, but also a widely loved game around the world. Ximen Qing is a kindergarten teacher who has the most contact with children and knows more about their preferences. She is confident that she will be very popular after taking out Pokémon. Most importantly, she also hopes that these children will be able to relive their childhood with relish when they grow up, instead of embarrassing cancer like treating Black history. It's decided, I want to draw an electric mouse. Ximen Qing shouted, Song Yunwoo and Qin Yuya, as her partners looked at her dumbfounded. Why do you want to draw a mouse all of a sudden, cats and mice? Sister Ximen, are you trying to paint me as a mouse? Qin Yuyao's expression was a little embarrassed. And now she felt that she was hinting at her when she turned on the phone. And there is still an electric arc on her head, well. It has nothing to do with you, Ximen King patted her shoulder. Anyway, you will be the one to paint when the time comes. It is not up to you to decide what it looks like, Then I will work hard, Qin Yuyao replied. Although this incident was caused by Ximen Qing's mischief that caused her to lose control, she was still in the final analysis. Ximen Qing was willing to take the initiative to help her share half, which moved her very much. And this time it's not just comics but animation games. And toys will all bloom simultaneously. Ximen Qing clapped his hands. It just so happens that I know a big game maker. And I want to ask if he can make the game I want do it. Wait a minute. Just as Ximen's love was getting higher and higher, a weak voice suddenly came from the floor. Who will help me make a call? 112. Ximen Qing looked down and said, Wow, where did this African come from? I saw a dark explosive head lying on the floor still smoking, and a faint smell of meat. Xiaoguai explained, she is not African, she was scorched. Me, Qin Yuyao was startled and took a closer look. It's the person I brought back just now. Is that the big Lolita just now? Xiamen Qing finally recognized Jin Huyuan. Oh. How can I forget her because of a lot of things just now? Is this still saved? Song Yunwu leaned forward and smelled it. It's all anxious, why don't you bury it, Xiaobai said. Jin Huyuan was surprised when she heard this. Don't. I think I can still rescue it, at this time. It would be nice if the dumb boy was here. Xiamen said with emotion, why isn't she coming back? An electric arc flashed on Qin Yuyao's head and vomited, sister. Although Dijiang is a surgeon, she doesn't have any medical equipment. So don't you still have to go to the hospital? Then what to do? Xiamen Qing looked at the big loli on the ground, feeling a little pity. Although she likes to dig people out of black history, it's really rare that a loli with such a small body and such a good figure is really rare. I really want to raise one, little boy said, let me try. After speaking, squatted down. Her hands turned into water and gradually wrapped Jin Huyuan's whole body soon. The black on Jin Huyuan's body surface began to fall off in pieces, revealing her tender and white skin. This is a kind of ability that Xiaobai has developed by using water to moisturize everything. So you are still a nanny, Xiaogui? Xiamen Qing said in surprise, me too. Just discovered it recently, Xiao Gu said. But this ability does not match the killer. I originally wanted to develop the ability to become a venom. Venom, Xiamen Qing Qin Yuyao. And Song Yunwu gave a jealous shot at the thought of Xiaogui's exposure to pesticides or sulfuric acid all over his body. God bless fortunately. It is the nanny ability that awakens Xiaogui. Jin Huyuan's injuries were originally serious, but there were not many internal injuries in addition. She was also a powerful evolutionary, so she recovered in a few minutes. There is almost no scar on the surface of the body, however. Her hairy brows and clothes disappeared with the scars. Xiamen Qing is not sure if she has armpit hair or not, because she is now naked. www.novelmtl. Even if she has armpit hair, she has taken it off. Jin Huyuan, who recovered from her injury, suddenly jumped up from the ground. Aha! You have miscalculated. If you have recovered my injury so carelessly, then I will go away first and I will come back for revenge. Jin Huyuan ran out the door quickly. She didn't want to stay here for a moment, it was terrible. She wanted to go home, however. Just when she ran out a few steps, a wall of water suddenly appeared in the corridor. Jin Huyuan slammed into the water wall and turned into a large piece of amber. Xiaogui walked over and pulled out Jin Huyuan. Don't run. It's over. Jin Huyuan is almost desperate in her heart. I'm going to be killed by her. I'm still in a state of full snails. Will I be treated as a pervert after I die, however? Xiaogui said, why do I think your voice is a bit familiar? Genius remembers this site address in 1 second. Mobile version reading URL, M. If you want to kill or pluck, just be a little bit sharper. Jin Huyuan closed her eyes and was about to wait for her death. Xiaogui's expression is probably like this, 0v0. What is this person talking about? What is the Killer King, what is it to kill or cut? She didn't understand, so she didn't bother to think about it. Still at his own pace he asked, are you a poet? How do you know my screen name? Jin Huyuan asked subconsciously, and then reacted suddenly, covering her mouth immediately. Don't try to find any clues about me. Xiaogui didn't care what she said. Took out her mobile phone and opened the chat interface. What are you doing? Jin Huyuan glanced at the phone and then she was stunned. Is this you? Xiaogui asked her. Jin Huyuan was shocked. Yaoyu. Why do you have my boss's account? What did you do to my boss? Xiaogui pointed to the phone and said, this. Mine account also belongs to me. Jin Huyuan's mouth was so open that she could almost fit a large cucumber. And she looked at the chat history on the phone in disbelief. About half a year ago, she discussed hacking techniques with people on a forum, and then met a person with the ID SGSS. This person is very powerful and taught Jin Huyuan a lot of hacking skills. At that time, Jin Huyuan was the best assassin in the entire assassin organization, unmatched in every aspect. And this SGSS actually gave her a sense of reverence. And she immediately admired her and regarded her as the boss. It's just that she didn't expect that she would meet the boss in such a way. In the chat between the two she had spoken, and the boss had been typing, so she couldn't recognize Xiaoguai at all. But then she was relieved, that's right. Who can be more powerful than me besides the killer Xiaoyu? Who else? Why didn't I want to understand such a simple truth? Do you know my code name? Xiaoguai looked at her in surprise. She investigated us all in great detail, Song Yunwoo said. If I'm not wrong, she should be the world's most famous killer Mi Shen. My Shen. Xiaoguai obviously didn't know much about this aspect. And he didn't feel much after hearing it. Xiamen Qing asked her, little dear. Is the poem you are talking about that friend who helps arrange music every time? Yes, Xiaoguai nodded, it's her. Speaking of arrangement, Jin Huyun finally realized, you are the one who sings. Because Xiamen Qing's singing would slightly change her voice. She didn't notice it at all at first. And she didn't consciously compare it until Xiamen Qing mentioned it. It's such a coincidence, Xiamen Qing was very surprised. Then take care of her affairs before drawing the comics. 4 people were sitting around the dining room, while Jin Huyun was placed on the dining table. A pair of big long legs was posed as a duck sitting. Qin Yuyao gave her a set of pajamas out of kindness. And the charter wife provided her with a wig. Let's talk about the last name first, name, age, birthplace. Have you ever had a boyfriend? Have you ever held hands with boys? Have you ever kissed? Have you ever been? Oh, Xiamen Qing asked, and was asked by Song Yunwoo interrupted with a slipper. Don't ask those who don't, Song Yunwoo asked her. You are not from the Sunshine Dongzhou Palace. Why do you want to assassinate Xiamen Qing, originally? Due to the professional ethics of a killer. Jin Huyun would definitely not tell them these things. But because of seeing the boss, Jin Huyun's integrity began to waver. Contact the current situation again. She was surrounded by 4 Peepleon King of Quasi-Killers. 1 Asian natural and man-made calamity ranking first. And 2 8 killers. In this battle no one will be able to change. She thought about it for a while. And finally told the truth, I took the task of Nikko Toshigu Shrine. Well, it's the same as I expected, Song Yunwoo nodded. What good things did those itch masters give you? So that you have the confidence to assassinate the 8 murderers. Sister Yunwoo isn't on Myoji, Qin Yuyao whispered. Song Yunwoo said, that's a group of itchy guys who don't pump. So that they have no problem with the itchy teacher, oh. Qin Yuyao nodded, so it was. Jin Huyun said, they gave me a lot of arrows to break the evil. And then there are 8 evil charms. But they were all shattered by electricity just now. The 8 evil spirits of the island country who were killed by Xiamen Qing manifested the power of Ashia Daeyamen. And his descendants developed the current line of Onmyoji. And because the 8 evil spirits have always regarded themselves as descendants of Tokugawa Ieyasu, the 3 major Toshigu shrines became their strongholds. Just the spell drawn by the fake Taoist priest. Xiamen was stunned, what's the use of that stuff? I think it's too rough for me to use it as toilet paper, you. Aren't you afraid? Jin Huyun said in shock. That's a charm left by the 8 evil spirits. It's very lethal. Xiamen said in love, that guy himself was burned by me. Where is your confidence to use a relic of my defeated general to me? She has always been so frightened that the seal on her body will be broken and it will cause disasters to her surroundings. But she has never worried that she will be killed. In fact, this body can't die at all, that. Jin Huyun was silly. Didn't she risk her life to assassinate her as a joke? Oh, that's all right, let's talk about your origins next. Oh, Jin Huyun obediently said about her history. Including her father who is from Kimchi and her mother from Sweden. Of course. She didn't elaborate on the killer organization on the mother's side. It's still organized www, novel MTL. Tilde Xiamen Qing touched his chin and said to Song Yunwoo. The charter wife anyway still have a vacant room here. So let her stay temporarily. It must be impossible to let her go after all. She is a person with spatial ability. It is still very troublesome to make her wave. But she is also a friend of Xiaoguai, who has compiled so many songs for Xiamen Qing for free. And she can't even kill her. It would be better to put her under house arrest for the time being. It just happens to be caught as a coolie. Zyman Ching will sing in the future. It will be very convenient to arrange music. Song Yunwoo looked at Zyman Ching suspiciously. You are not making any strange calculations again. Are you? No, definitely not. Zyman Ching didn't propose to keep her because she wanted to add a big loli to her wings. Hey, Jin Hyun was dumbfounded. So was her going or staying decided like this? She hasn't commented yet. Well, it just so happens that the room opposite Zyoagui has been vacant. Now that you two know each other, let's stay. Song Yunwoo nodded. Jin Hyun, wait a minute, Oh yes, remember to pay the rent, Song Yunwoo reminded. Jin Hyun was stunned for a moment. Is there any such operation? Lock her up and ask her to pay the rent, that. She once again wanted to emphasize her subjective wishes, but was interrupted by Zyman Ching again. By the way, don't you come back to get your homework? You won't be late now, are you? Oh. Zio Guai seemed to have reacted too, and hurriedly jumped off the stool and ran into the room. Listen to me. Zyman King grabbed Jin Hyun's hand and followed Zyoagui. Come on. Your room is here, Mom, I want to go home. After so many ordeals, Jin Hyun no longer dared to challenge the 8 evil spirits recklessly. Now she just wants to go back and have a good drink of cocoa. She was afraid that if she lived here, she would be eaten by these people patter. When the two of them were walking, suddenly something fell to the ground. Song Yunwoo, who was following, picked it up and took a look. This chocolate Chinese letter. She immediately remembered where this thing came from, and threw it into the trash can with disgust. Jin Hyun felt the strangeness of her body, and then looked at the chocolate again. Her face suddenly changed. Mom. They have already dipped me in candy, Lolita shivered. The room opposite Zyoagui has been unoccupied, but Song Yunwoo has been cleaning it all the time. And Chin Yuya will also help out at ordinary times. So it's still clean, so you can live in it straight away. Zyman Ching said to Jin Hyun, you can call home to save them from worrying. Put me back if you don't have to worry about it. Jin Hyun didn't dare not follow her, so she used Song Yunwoo's cell phone to call back. All the high-tech products on her were destroyed by Chin Yuya, and they were no longer usable. Zyman Ching discussed with Song Yunwoo when she was on the phone. Island Lind actually has time to send me a reward. Is there something wrong with the dumb boy? Song Yunwoo nodded. Why don't you go over there after a while? Well, I think so too, Zyman Ching said solemnly. Chin Yuya on the side interrupted at the right time. Sister Zyman, don't you want to escape overseas to repay your debts? Tusk. Zyman gave her a blank look. You kid. What the truth is? Chin Yuya said. Sister, you can run away. I thought about it for a while. Anyway, I live long enough. More than 10 billion I can always pay off. Zyman Ching and Song Yunwoo looked at each other. Both laughing, she touched Chin Yuya's face. Little fool. Your mind hasn't turned around yet, huh? What? Song Yunwoo explained. Do you think Mrs. Jiang Jianhong showed a trace of distress when he talked about the loss of tens of billions? For an 8 murderer, money is the easiest thing in the world to get. Because you control this, the most powerful force in the world. Just go to a wealthy country to settle down, and by the way, you will get a protection fee of 10 billion or 100 billion. Others will also give it to you. An electric arc came out of Chin Yuya's head. She seemed to be thinking about what Song Yunwoo said just now. Indeed, the 8 evildoers are something more terrifying than nuclear weapons. There are only 8 evildoers in the world, and only 3 belong to a country. The remaining countries that don't have must be very eager to have a town of 8 evil spirits. And for this, even if they pay tens of billions or hundreds of billions, they are definitely willing. Mainly, her thinking is still in the category of ordinary female college students. Even if she makes money by drawing comics, she will get around 100,000 yuan for the time being. It's not that simple to get her to accept the 8 evil settings at once. But, Chin Yuya asked again. The 8 evildoers must be so rich. Why is Ajini still wandering? Also, Sister Zyman, you seem to have been crying poor before. Zyman Ching's expression froze. I don't really love this land. I don't want to go abroad very much. Moreover, if I really take money from the country, I don't want to go abroad. We have to deal with all kinds of things like Jiang Taidu. For example, when the one from the United States came over a while ago, he went to stop it. The fighting between the 8 evil spirits is very dangerous. Although she understates the fact that she killed the 8 evil spirits of the island country, she can also think with her feet that if the 8 evil spirits are so easy to be killed, they will not be called the 8 evil spirits. She slept for 100 years because of that guy. If Simon lost love that time, she might have slept for more than 100 years but millennia and tens of thousands of years. During this period, it is hard to say what will happen to this body. Qin Yuao Notich understood this point, and she didn't want to go to war much after changing. There was an invasion by foreign enemies. She was happy to guard this piece of land that raised her. But she was reluctant to ask her to help the country go out and fight this and that. After all, she was just an ordinary girl who grew up in a peaceful environment. Is it the same for Ajani? She is the most special situation, Ximen Qing said. Some countries used to invite her to be a patron saint. What happened later? Qin Yuyo asked. Ximen's love spread his hands, later it was gone. The whole country was hit by a meteorite. And bang, the country was wiped out in one fell swoop. Meteor? Qin Yuyo opened her mouth wide. How big a meteorite could wipe out a country? Or is that country very small? She restrained herself from actively contacting others. Ximen Qing said, unless someone approaches her actively. Otherwise you just call don't come, and she will definitely not approach you. Qin Yuyo seemed to realize something, Ajiani. She is a very gentle person as expected. Jin Huiyuan on the side just finished the call www. Novelimtl. Com tilde she explained the general situation to the contact person. And said that her mission had failed and she didn't plan to go back for the time being. Ximen Qing said to her, don't worry, we won't hurt you. We will let you go if we solve the problem on the island country. But you are not allowed to take our tasks anymore. No answer, no answer. Jin Huiyuan shook her head vigorously. Kill her, she will never take on such a deadly task again. All right, then go to the room to rest. You were in a serious injury just now. Although Xiaoguai has taken care of it. It's better to have a rest. When Ximen Qing said that, Jin Huiyuan seemed to feel the pain all over her body. After being numb, she had no memory for a while. And she didn't know what happened during that period. But the feeling of bruises after waking up made her feel very bad. Especially when he was stabbed by a pair of scissors. The hot pain hasn't disappeared yet. After that, Qin Yuyao was electrocuted by Qin Yuyao at close range. Jin Huiyuan felt that it was a miracle that she could survive. Seeing Jin Huiyuan lying on the bed, Ximen Qing and the others all left the room. Xiaoguai went to Schooland before leaving. She went to Jin Huiyuan's room to let her have a good rest. Ximen Qing called Zai. International long distance, it hurts a bit. Hey cute, it's me, Whatty am me fraud. I am Simon Love, yes. It's not because you missed you, because you haven't come back for so long. Oh Huais. That's the thing about the sand sculpture itch master. Come on, do it then. Ximen Qing hung up the phone. And said to Song Yunwu, the idiot said that she would help with the affairs of Nikko Dongsho Palace. We don't seem to need to go out anymore. It's okay if you don't go. It just happens to be able to draw comics, Song Yunwu nodded. And went back to continue drawing the Attack on Giant comic. Ximen Qing entered her room with Qin Yuyao, after a while. The arc on Qin Yuyao's head has been reduced a lot. And the two began to discuss the design of Pokémon seriously. Electric mouses like this. Ximen Qing used his soul painting skills to draw a rough idea. I plan to call it Pikachu. It looks like this, beep beep. Sister Ximen, you are so cute, Qin Yuyao said with a smile. Ximen Qing blinked, why did you molest me? Obviously I should molest you, let's do it. She threw Qin Yuyao onto the bed. And then began to discourage her. Of course Qin Yuyao wanted to resist. But she was not as strong as her. So she could only helplessly let her move, speaking of which. Ximen Qing's figure is better than her. And her body is also fragrant and soft. But the scent is different. If Qin Yuyao is a faint sweet-scented osmanthus fragrance, then Ximen Qing is the fragrance of peach blossoms. While she was rubbing Qin Yuyao was actually rubbing her. Newton said, well, the effect of force is mutual. So it's hard to tell who has the advantage. Oh, I'm so tired. Simon Ching leaned on Qin Yuya and refused to move. Qin Yuya took the opportunity to push her away. Sister. The business is not over yet. Her blush was flushing. Even if she was of the same sex. Her body was a little hot, just know, and it felt weird. Ahais. Simon Ching nodded. Then Pikachu will do this for the time being. And then design others, little fire dragon. The Jenny turtled wonderful frog seed. She and Qin Yuya continued to discuss until the evening and designed a lot of Pokémon. In fact, Simon Ching's own understanding of Pokémon has not reached a very comprehensive level. She mainly learned about it through collecting stickers when she was a child. But the routines are all the same. The elves are designed to be cute, and then their abilities are roughly that, like firewater. Grass, electricity, of course. What impressed Simon the most was the story of Xiaoji just meeting Pikachu and then teaming up with Xiaoxia and Xiaogang to take an adventure. She can memorize this article completely after all. The story is not complicated. There are also the Rocket's live treasures. The classic, since you ask sincerely. As long as these elements are present, I believe the quality of the animation will not be bad. It may even reach the level of Dragon Babu that is even hotter than the Earth. They are actively preparing new comics here. And the outside world is also in turmoil because of them. Although the 5-second blackout caused a lot of losses, it was mainly in some areas that no one usually touched. Like an ordinary family. It just feels like it stopped for 5 seconds. And it didn't make much difference. At most, it was just after dinner. Because of the country's efforts. Although this accident has been reported in the news, we try to understate it and use some excuses such as temporary workers' operation errors and magnetic field changes to get past it. Even if someone realized that something was wrong, it was only a minority. And it did not cause much panic among the general population. In contrast, within the Mysterious Alliance is a completely different situation. The Mystery Alliance is not a specific organization. It is more like an existence that provides a forum for global evolution. Among them, there are not only the plates of various continents and countries, but also the specific subdivisions into various provinces and regions. The evolvers can form small forces in the Mysterious Alliance by themselves and gather like-minded partners to help each other. Just like applying for an exclusive post, for example. Xiaogui's God's Prank is actually a special little force. In addition, there are special small forces like helping Simon Ching, Damon Z find a job and apply for ID cards and so on. And among these small forces, there is one of the hottest forums called the United Forum. This is almost equivalent to the United Nations in the real world. Evolutionaries from all parts of the world can visit and discuss it here. The topic of discussion is mainly limited to some major international events. For example, what happened today. Almost 1 hour after it happened, one post came out one after another. Shock. The eastern part of Hua country was hit by an unknown attack. The scope of the attack was huge, and it was suspected that the 8 murderers had taken action. I didn't expect it to be her. What do you think about the truth that 99% of people don't know? The birth of the new 8 evil spirits. The flower country has 8 evil spirits. Conquering the world is just around the corner. A brand new 8 evils. This will not be good news for global evolvers. And it is also a super shocking big news. It's the same as ordinary people hear that a certain country has developed nuclear weapons. Although Hyugyu has taken some secret measures, there are so many evolvers. It is inevitable that a few masters of black technology have finally obtained Qin Yuyao's general information. Because she has been a cover model for comic magazines, it is not difficult to get her photos. www. Novel MTL. Comgender femeline, her early 20s, looks beautiful. She is a college girl student. Part-time cartoonist and model. The family is ordinary and the past deeds are ordinary. This kind of information. No one will think of the 8 evil spirits when he reads it. But all the facts have proved that she is a new throne 8 evil spirits. This large-scale blackout was her king ceremony. All of a sudden, the entire mysterious alliance seemed to have a magnitude 7 earthquake. And everyone was in danger. What is the character of the new 8 evil spirits? Will she help Hua to attack other countries? Will she become a terrorist? There is a lot of discussion about all kinds of speculations. Among them, the most popular post is, "Fuck. She is actually a cartoonist. I just watched the cartoon she drew, it really looks good." JoJo's style of painting was originally European and American. After spreading internationally, it immediately gained a lot of enthusiasm. Published overseas, Chin Yuyao suddenly received a call from Hiromi Nita that day, and was a little surprised to learn that JoJo's Bizarre Adventure was actually going to be published overseas. Xiamen Qing just finished the bath and sat on her bed wrapped in a bath towel. Hearing this, he leaned in immediately. Chin Yuyao asked, "Why is it so sudden?" On the other side of the phone, Nita Hiromi said, "I also find it strange, Mr. Wangshu, have you done something recently?" Suddenly, there has been a lot of enthusiasm in Europe and the United States. Several overseas publishing houses have come to contact us and want to publish. Your comics are all very famous ones. No, nothing. Chin Yuyao also became a little embarrassed across the phone. She couldn't tell the truth either. She howled about 10 billion in a single voice. The editor-in-chief said that if you publish overseas, it's best to hope that Teacher Shu will go abroad to do some activities yourself. Said Nita Hiromi, "You are so beautiful. And there must be a lot of fans among fans. Then hold an autograph meeting and make a hype. Sell better, heh. Hee me, I'll think about it again." Chin Yuyao clutched the phone and looked at Sister Xiamen. You don't need to speak to Xiamen Qing to know that she is asking for advice. Xiamen Qing thought for a willing said, "If you want to travel abroad, go there. And refuse if you don't want to, if you change someone else. You will definitely be restricted from leaving the country if you owe more than 10 billion. But the two of them are different. The 10 billion is purely a verbal agreement between Jiang Jianhong and them. Without any mana benefits, in other words. They pay it back if they want. Or not pay it back if they don't want to. It's purely a matter of personal feeling. So naturally, there will be no legal issues. As for safety, there is no need to worry about it. It is someone else. Will I be restricted from entering the country now?" Chin Yuyao suddenly thought of a question, for example. Luna Jones. He came to Ziliang Demon Village during the new, but left soon. Because Jiang Jianhong would not let him stay in Hua country for too long. It is estimated that Luna Jones will do the same after changing Jiang Jianhong to the rotten country. After all, no one wants to have an untimely bomb in his own territory. Chin Yuyao's special ability has caused great damage to modern society. It is estimated that many countries do not want her to go. It's okay, Xiamen said, anyway, except for the United States. Corruption and Mausiather countries, even if they have MMPs in their hearts, can only smile on their faces. Excluding the one that died in the island country. The world also has 8 evils in 4 countries. Originally there were French clubs. But at Johnny really no one can afford it. So their position as a permanent member of the UN is already in jeopardy. Chin Yuyao nodded her head as if she didn't understand. She was a little girl who had always yearned for going abroad. What about the Maldives, Hawaii, the Aegean Sea? But I have always heard that overseas is chaotic. And my own economy is not rich, so I can only think about it. You go abroad this time. The money can be paid by the local government. Xiamen Qing said you don't need to spend a penny. And you can tell your friends that you are a poor traveler when you come back. This is what a poor travel method. Chin Yuyao couldn't laugh or cry. So you haven't adapted to the identity of the 8 evil spirits. Xiamen Qing explained to her. Money is not even a number for the 8 evil spirits. They don't even have to consider this aspect. As long as they go to one place, someone will arrange everything for them, of course. Because of character issues. There are also people like Sophia Janney who do not have any contact with the local government. Or maybe it's Luna Jones's, "Why do I want you to treat me when I have money?" Then do I take my friends? Chin Yuyao asked. Absolutely, Xiamen Qing nodded. What? Ru Yao, are you going to go overseas with me for a honeymoon? Then I have to ask for a leave, as a result. Qin Yuyao shook her head straightforwardly, no. Sister Simon, aren't you the 8th killer yourself? Why do you want me to take it? And what the is the honeymoon? Why are our 2 girls going overseas for our honeymoon, men? If you have me, what man do you want? Simon King was unhappy, can't I satisfy you? Qin Yuyao stopped talking. She knew that the paranoia of Ximen's love had committed again. At this time, even she was unable to complain. No one cooperated. It didn't make sense for Ximen Qing to be blind by herself. So she simply went to Song Yunwoo. Chartered wife Ru Yao doesn't want me anymore, roll. The door between the sky and clouds slammed shut. And Ximen Qing felt ashamed. Song Yunwoo knew her better than Qin Yuyao. This idiot zombie gave a little sunshine to her. And if she was entangled, an itch wouldn't be troublesome. There would be no time to draw cartoons, Relentless woman, Ximen King murmured, ignore me. Then I'll go down and eat tomatoes, hungry. She ran downstairs. But in front of the refrigerator, she ran into Jin Huiyuan, who was holding her buttocks and bending over her legs. Was opening the refrigerator. Yo, little sister, are you hungry? Ximen King ran over and patted her. Do you want sister to eat for you? Jin Huiyuan was taken aback and subconsciously wanted to use the space teleportation to escape. But she forgot that there was a restriction on space suppression in this house. And eventually her body trembled and nothing happened. What's the matter with you? You won't be shot flying by me. Ximen King looked at her curiously. Jin Huiyuan shook her head vigorously, I'm fine. And I'm not hungry. Then she was about to go back to the room. In the past 2 years she has performed dozens of tasks. Large and small. And powerful evolutionaries have also fought a lot. She has never encountered a strong one who can suppress space. Even the same spatial evolutionary. No one can make her unable to even teleport www, novel MTL. This Ziliang demon village is too terrifying. She ran to it when she was fascinated by something. Are you here to play assassination? Ximen Qing watched her limping away from the back. Her eyes automatically shifted to her beautiful legs. As expected of mixed Europeans. My legs are so long. When I was only 15 years old. I really want to lick Ito. No, I really want to touch it. She took out a tomato and bit it down. The juice rushed out in an instant. And a drop of it traversed an arc and fell on the back of Jin Huiyuan's thigh. Yeah, she yelled cutely. And looked back at Ximen Qing in horror. The look in his eyes was like watching a tram idiot. Ximen King bit the tomato and looked at her blankly. Jin Huiyuan didn't dare to say anything but her lower lip. And went back to the room very aggrieved. Ximen Qing blinked. Why do I feel like I am inexplicably wronged again? Is it an illusion? JoJo's bizarre adventure suddenly became popular overseas is completely unexpected. And the editorial department of the Young Manu became busy. The warm-up for the release of the new work of Dancing Love was originally a big project. Suddenly there was another overseas business. And everyone had to start working overtime, of course. If the comics sell well, everyone will get more bonuses. This is actually a happy trouble. In the entire editorial department. The most relaxed is probably the editor-in-chief Zhou Hong. The leader cannot be busy if the leader is busy. It is either his own incompetence or the incompetence of the people under his hands, so. This is the reason you go to work and play games. Hiromi Nita held a pile of documents and watched Zhou Hong utter shameless words in amazement. Of course not, Zhou Hong shook his phone. You don't know what I am playing, right? What? Zhou Hong got up and came to her, guess. Nita Hiromi stepped back subconsciously. But Zhou Hong pressed on step by step. And she slammed into the office wall. Zhou Hong took the opportunity to slap on the wall, leaving her with nowhere to escape. The two faces gradually approached. If you can't guess, I will punish you. Nita Hiromi's face instantly blushed and turned into a cooked crab. What is the punishment? Is it a tongue kiss? But this is in the office. The door was not closed when she came in. And someone might come in at any time. She whispered, I can't guess, heh. Zhou Hong gave a smirk. Then turned back to a seat instantly. Then I will punish you, as he said. He threw the phone to Hiromi Nita. Until today. I will play this game for Meend, then write me a testimonial. No less than 5,000 words, huh? Hiromi Nida was taken aback. Was it such a punishment? What was the pink atmosphere just now? Is she thinking too much? Suddenly feeling very embarrassed. She couldn't wait to retract her head into her body. In order to ease the embarrassment, she quickly picked up the phone. This is obviously Jo Hong's mobile phone, but it can be opened when her finger touches the position of the fingerprint lock, which makes her stunned. The latest Orange 20 Plus phone for you, give it to me. Nita Hiromi looked at the phone in her hand. This was the one she wanted very much. But she was reluctant to buy it because it was too expensive. But she never told anyone about this. How did he know? Seeing her look to her, Jo Hong opened the browser on the computer while saying, "You probably don't know that you have a habit of talking in sleep." What? Nita Hiromi was startled and subconsciously covered her mouth. Can I talk in sleep? Oops, you won't talk about some private things, right? He heard it all, seeing her nervously. Jo Hong quietly curled up the corners of her mouth. This guy is really cheating. In fact, it was only one time in the street that she enviously looked at the Orange 20 Plus in other people's hands and was seen by him. After a while, Nita Hiromi settled down and started playing the game. When she saw the name of the game, she was stunned for a moment. Dragon Babu. Isn't this a comic by the dance teacher? Now the game is out. Savage Monster was originally developing a mobile game. This time, he bought the copyright of Dragon Babu and changed the skin. So the progress is very fast. And the mobile game will be tested as soon as the new year is over. As the editor-in-chief of Squat, Gong Yanjun naturally had the means to get the internal test number, and then gave Jo Hong a few. The relationship between the two of them sleeping on the same bed, upper and lower bunk. Although the position is competitive, in fact the relationship is pretty good in private. And occasionally they will eat together. Nita Yume is also an editor. After learning that Jo Hong asked her to play Tianlong Babu, he immediately understood something. Editor-in-chief, are you also considering linking with the game? Jo Hong nodded. Not only games. The value of the entire comics can be tapped in all directions. Moviesongs, games, models, and even theme parks, just like Tishni. Although they are still just a small publishing house, Jo Hong's vision has reached far, far away. Nita Hiromi also knew that this was an exaggerated goal, the kind that would be regarded as a joke when it was said. But she just thought Jo Hong could do it. With Wuking teacher and Wangshu teacher as powerful cartoonists, plus the editor-in-chief, maybe we can also have our own Disney in the future. Thinking of this, she played the game harder. It's a pity that the level is too good. And he was blown by his opponent in a few fights. Damn it. I want to win. Nita Hiromi continued, but was blown out in the next 5 duels. Woo, this game is so difficult. She looked at Jo Hong pitifully. But the other party looked at the computer screen and didn't even move her eyes. You are too bad. Continue to fight, oh. At the same time, the Squat editorial department. Editor-in-chief, you're too good. Su Jin's eyes flashed with small stars, looking at Gong Yanjun in admiration. Just now she was playing Dragon Babu. And then she was blown up several times in succession. And her mouth was puffed up like a pufferfish with anger. Gong Yanjun, who was passing by, saw it and helped her fight a few times. At first, the two sides were evenly matched, but after a while, Gong Yanjun began to slaughter the opposite side. There were 6 in a row, all of which were crushed. Gong Yanjun returned the phone to Su Jin. Let's play. The other side has changed. Substitution. Su Jin was taken aback. It turned out to be a substitution. No wonder he suddenly changed. But the editor-in-chief who fought back and forth with her abuser before is so handsome. Su Jin tried to play a few more and, as expected, the opponent was not as strong as it was at the beginning. She feels that she has met a well-matched opponent, because the opponent also often reverses the air as she does. Okay, see if I beat you. She got up at once. Reading www. Ukanshu Com vows to fight this guy for 300 rounds. Gong Yanjun opened the webpage and looked at the internet. After a dance, Dragon Babu will be over immediately. And the Squat editorial department is in desperate need of a new platform. However, these works currently being serialized are either not very exciting enough, Or they are evil comics like The King of Thieves, which are good-looking, but not mainstream enough. He is now considering whether or not to cooperate with online text sites to change the online cool text. The web text itself has an audience base, comes with its own traffic, and the rhythm of the story is tight, which is very suitable for adaptation into a comic. The biggest problem with online writing is the unevenness of good and bad. After all, threshold for this line of business is too low. Never overestimate the junk level of a network. And never underestimate the excellent level of a network. Gong Yanjun first swept the rankings of the leading internet leader, Yuyuan.com has a monthly ticket list. And the top one is undoubtedly Du Zitung's Star Tyrant. This book has become more and more popular after the Jianyang incident. And its popularity has risen by a big step. It is a well-deserved popular fried chicken on Yuyuan.com. However, Gong Yanjun did not choose it. Firstly, it was too expensive. Secondly, it was also because the image of Jianyang was originally created by Wuking Teacher and the others. And the comics would definitely be influenced by them. He continued to scroll down. There were urban outfits that forced a face-slapped cool text. Some fantasy upgraded cool texts and competitive games. Because no one has tried it before. Gong Yanjun is not sure which type of web post is most suitable for adaptation. This needs to test his eyesight. In the end, he picked a veteran author, Zun Wuzh. This is a fairly old author. He has written on Yuyuan.com for more than 10 years. Although none of the books are as popular as Interstellar Tyrant, they are still passable. After years of accumulation of popularity, he has a large number of diehard fans. The work of such an old author is adapted. At least it will not fall too badly. Now Zun Wuzh's serialized work is called Soft Fan Wang Chat Group, which talks about all the men in different worlds who eat soft rice in a chat group and communicate with each other. The protagonist is a handsome guy who is taken care of by a rich woman. He is useless except for his face, and has a very salty personality. He calls himself an energy conservationist. One day he was accidentally added to this group, which triggered a series of subsequent stories. This is still serialized with only 600,000 characters. And its popularity is okay, however. Gong Yanjun was not interested in this book. But Zun Wu's famous work, Invasion of the Gods. Invasion of the Gods is about a group of people suddenly summoned into a subway. And then a small TV in the subway will release tasks for them. After the subway arrives, they need to complete the task. And then get rewards based on the task evaluation. During the period, they will also encounter characters in various myths games and movies and TV series. Killing these characters can obtain part of the opponent's abilities. According to Gong Yanjun's investigation, Zun Wuzh should be the first author to write this type of multiple works mixed in the same world. This subject matter is called infinite flow, and many authors have competed to imitate it, and even developed the category of infinite flow. However, after being popular for a period of time, the infinite flow has declined. And now I write at most some elements of the infinite flow. And the infinite flow will not be the main selling point. Invasion of the Gods is the first infinite stream in the Flower Country. And many readers have feelings for it. If it is adapted into a comic, I believe that just selling feelings will not lose money. So Gong Yanjun immediately contacted the editorial department of Yuyuan.com and contacted the author Zun Wuzh in the end. He successfully got the right to adapt this comic. Before long, Yuyuan.com and Squat started to promote this new comic at the same time. As soon as the gimmick of classic adaptation was passed out, it immediately aroused many people's ideas, many years ago, when online writing was still not developed. Many of them became the memories of readers' youth. Invasion of the Gods is naturally one of them. As the pioneer of a genre, many middle and second-year teenagers at that time saw a sense of superiority from it. Do you like watching XXX? Haha, the Invasion of the Gods I watched is your ancestor. That's how superiority comes out. Time passed. And when the news came that Invasion of the Gods was going to be cartoonized, many people immediately recalled their own years. Feelings this is a very special emotion. But in the eyes of businessmen it is money. Squat and Yuyuan Com are the leaders of the two industries. And the media channels are naturally not bad. Soon the advertisements of this comic were overwhelmingly promoted. The readers' voices when discussing Wooking teacher leaving Squat suddenly became quieter. After all, there is only one, Tianlong Babu. And the stickiness is not as great as imagined, Ximen Qing. Ximen Qing. Song Yunwoo ran to Ximen Qing's room excitedly and said to her, "I'm so happy." Ximen Qing was taken aback by her. "What are you nervous about? By the way, shouldn't our roles be reversed? She should be the one who is so mad at ordinary times. Why was she snatched away by the charter wife?" Regardless of her complaints, Song Yunwoo said excitedly, "My favorite author Sun Waj is going to be comics great. Will I have a chance to see him when I go to the Cartoonist activities in the future?" Sun Waj. Is that the culprit who caused you to leave instant noodles all day? Ximen King said fiercely. This kind of person should be hung up and castrated. Don't say that about my idol, Song Yunwoo glared at her. Just like those brain-dead women who chase stars. It's over. Ximen Qing patted his forehead. The charter wife has been brainwashed. How can I save you? Save a ghost. Song Yunwoo gave her a white look and turned around to go back to the room. She just came here just so happy and wanted to find someone to share. Ximen Qing said suddenly, "Wait a minute. Where is the comic you mentioned serialized?" Song Yunwoo said, "At Squat they have cooperated with Yuyuan." Calm. Ximen Qing said, "The charter wife. You never thought about why they did this all of a sudden?" "Why? Of course it's because we didn't renew the contract with Squat. This is to find an online writer to fight us." Ximen Qing said, "With us?" Song Yunwoo was taken aback for a moment. She has always regarded Sun Waj as an idol www, novel MTL. So she never thought about it. Now that Ximen Qing mentioned it, she realized that it seemed to be the case. Squad intends to support a new platform. And the release date of the new comic seems to coincide with the release date of their new work, Attack on Titan. And it is clear that they are going to challenge them. Why? I can't afford to be challenged when I meet an author I like. Ximen Qing asked her in the end. Song Yunwoo beamed his eyes and stared at her. On the contrary. It is my greatest honor to be able to compete with idols on the same stage. Now let's beat them down together, okay, of course. Ximen Qing smiled. I will accompany you for whatever you want, great. Song Yunwoo squeezed his fist. When I win him, I will go and ask for an autograph and take a photo with him. He will definitely not refuse me, damn. Ximen Qing slapped her forehead. Isn't she still a little fan? Song Yunwoo said, you don't know. Sun Wuxia never participates in any activities. It is very difficult to see him, isn't it just a dead house? So lofty. Ximen Qing disapproved. I don't bother to participate in various activities. Am I proud? You think everyone is Yua salted fish zombie. It will melt away in the sun, Song Yunwoo said. I don't bother to care about you. I will continue to draw comics. I have drawn it to Alan's hand. HMMGO and Gothet Place is the climax. I believe the next scene of Alan becoming a giant will surely shock the readers. Ximen Qing nodded, rolled over and started typing on the bed. She has written a lot of the plot of Giant until the Wang Zheng chapter has been given to Song Yunwoo. Next, she mainly wrote the fourth part of JoJo and the plot of Pokémon. Bang bang bang. Her fingers quickly tapped on the keyboard. After a while, she suddenly propped up her upper body and rubbed her chest. Oh. There are asterisks and it's not good, it's a bit stuffy. This kind of annoyance may be in those airports. There will never be. She simply stopped. Ready to go downstairs to steal some tomatoes, today. The charter wife is in a good mood. She shouldn't be beaten if she steals a few more. She tiptoed to the first floor only to hit Jin Huyuan. Yo. Ximen Qing said hello. Jin Huyuan immediately turned to leave. She grabbed Jin Huyuan. Hey, what are you running? Is my appearance terrible? Jin Huyuan turned her back to her. Her expression was very bitter. Are you afraid that you don't have any compelling numbers in your heart? How have I been messed up before? If I stay away from you, God knows what it will be like. Of course, Yuhin. She turned around. Her expression was already well covered. She smiled and shook her head. No, not scary. Don't be scared, why are you running away? I am in a hurry. Are you in a hurry? Then wait a minute. Simon poured a glass of water with affection. Then took a few tomatoes and said to her, I will accompany you to the bathroom and then to your room. Since I ran into it. I just happened to have something to find you, huh? Jin Huyuan suddenly pressed harder. How could she not escape? She had no choice but to enter the bathroom under the sight of Ximon King. Across the door, she tremblingly asked Ximon Ching, Excuse me. What can you do with me, outside the bathroom door? Ximon King took a bite of a tomato and drank a sip of water. And then said, Aren't you good at arranger? Teach me to chant, huh? Jin Huyuan said this unexpectedly. You want to learn music, only know some basic knowledge. Ximon Ching drank again and said, When you arrange the music, I can make amendments more accurately in the details. Jin Huyuan was stunned. And then her expression became more and more bitter. So she was speaking on the premise of treating her as a bound arranger. She tried to save herself. Arrangement is actually very simple. I teach you, you will learn it soon, you don't need mine. Oh. That's too much trouble, Ximon Ching said, Isn't there you? Why should I learn so much? What a waste of time and energy. Jin Huyuan was almost crying. She didn't dare to refuse. So she lifted her and walked out. As soon as she left the house, she saw Ximon King drinking water. It felt like Jin Huyuan's eyelids twitched and she didn't say much. The two then entered Jin Huyuan's room together. Song Yunwoo had the second illness of naming each room. Her master bedroom is Tianyunjian. Ximon Ching's room is Wanking Pavilion. The purple door is Beihayuan Qin Yuyao's Fengyuxuan. And Xiaogui's is Pan Taoyuan. After Jin Huyuan moved, Song Yunwoo also named her room VIPS. Although it is still 3 words. This time it has become a rot. The reason was that Jin Huyuan's name was associated with member. And she was of European mixed blood. And then the 3 characters for VIP were set. Every time Ximon Ching sees this house number, he always thinks, if you want to enter the VIP room, please call the member first, members. She subconsciously glanced at Jin Huyuan's little butt, which was sexier than an adult who can stand it up. Jin Huyuan suddenly felt the chrysanthemum tight. And her injuries were still aching. Subconsciously looked back at Ximon Ching. As a result, he saw the meaningful look in his eyes. And his whole body was shocked. Does she want to bite me and turn me into a zombie? Mom, I seem to be hanging up. Jin Huyuan tremblingly entered the room with Ximon Ching. The room is filled with various musical instruments and mixing equipment. These were all Jin Huyuan's own. The killer organization she belonged to learned that she was captured alive. And decisively gave up the rescue. After all, she is the strongest killer in the entire organization. And she has been arrested. Isn't she going to save people again? Her grandfather offered to pay compensation. And the huge amount of $300 million suddenly reduced the tens of billions of debt. Ximon Ching simply asked Jiang Jianhong to do the handover. And by the way, all the tools that Jin Huyuan used to arrange music were brought over. With Jiang Jianhong, the customs gave the green light all the way. And all these things were shipped from Europe to Xiaokong within a day. The renter also intimately pasted soundproof symbols on the walls, ceiling and floor of this room, so that no matter how noisy the room is, it will not affect the outside. Ximon King knocked on a piano casually, and then said to Jin Huyuan, I will sing a song again now. Can you try to accompany me? Jin Huyuan took a breath and said, I'll try it. As a gold medal killer, she has a lot of skills and even has several PhDs in her hands. It can be said responsibly that she is a student bully. However, among so many skills, her favorite is hackers and musical instruments. www. Novel Com-1 can play a great auxiliary role in the assassination mission. And the other is to adjust her mood after completing the assassination. Although the targets of her killing were all heinous. For example, the oil king who killed the first time was a pervert who secretly abused children. But after all, it was a murder. In order to prevent psychological problems, her grandfather arranged various decompression for her. In the end, she chose a musical instrument. Ximen Qing cleared her throat and suddenly said passionately, Sadie Hida's Essen. Nien Ersinder J. Jur. She didn't sing the flower language, Jin Huyuan, who is half European, knew that it was German, although it was not very standard. Just as she wondered why Simon Qing wanted to sing in German. The lyrics changed to an island language. Ximen loves to sing the theme song of the animated version of Attack on Giant. Red Lotus's bow, she has an ambition. This time the comics are not just comics. She wants to work with animations. The real fire of Attack on Titan mainly started with animation. Ximen Qing thinks it's easy to be miserable if she simply publishes the comics. So she simply discussed with Zhou Hong to engage in animation. Zhou Hong originally planned to look for an animation company. But an animation company in Woolen City actually took the initiative to find it, rushing to make the animation of Giant. After investigation, Zhou Hong learned that this is a very powerful animation company. So after notifying Ximen Qing, he finalized the details of the cooperation there. Now the first episode of animation is in full swing there. Of course, the comics must be part of the content of the animation. So this week the comics will be published in the magazine. And the animation will have to wait until the beginning of the spring. About April, Red Lotus's Bow is a very passionate song. Although Ximen Qing's voice changes, she is a woman after all. She mainly wants Jin Huyuan to compose the music. It is best to get the music score. And then she fills in the lyrics and gives it to the male singer to sing. Jin Huyuan was absent-minded. But after Ximen Qing started singing, she was gradually attracted by the singing. She likes music very much. She has heard a lot of songs sung by Simon before. But it is the first time to sing it to her face to face like this. Listening seemed to have entered a battlefield, surrounded by soldiers. And she was also fighting with swords. The blood of the enemy fell on her face. She was not afraid. And her only belief was to win the battle. Suddenly, the singing stopped abruptly. And Jin Huyuan suddenly came back to her senses. What? Sing finished? Yeah, Ximen Qing nodded. How? How much do you remember? Do you want me to sing it to you again? Wait, I'll try. Jin Huyuan raised her hand to stop her from speaking. Then sat on the edge of the piano, pinpointing her fingers and started playing. Once not right, adjust it. Twice not right, adjust again. 3 times, this time right. Once she had found the beginning, Jin Huyuan began to play very smoothly. And she played a full third before she stopped. The memory behind is a little fuzzy. It's okay, I'll sing it again. Ximen Qing continued to sing again where she left off. Because it is a 90-second op of the TV version, it is quick to do. It didn't take long before Jin Huyuan was able to play the entire tune smoothly. After Thatch silently wrote out the rough scores, and after preparations, she would find the corresponding instruments to arrange the music. Awesome, Ximen Qing clapped and applauded, making Jin Huyuan feel a little embarrassed about the back of her head. Suddenly, she looked up at Ximen Qing. Did you also write this song? Ximen Qing thought for a while, then nodded. That's right. It's not that she insists on using other people's works as a prestige for herself. But the original author is not from this world after all. And it is really troublesome to explain, rather than stubbornly pulling out a character that doesn't exist at all. She simply said that she wrote it herself. Ximen Qing hated trouble. I have one more here, you can help me see it. After finishing Red Lotus's Bow, Ximen Qing said again. This song was sung for others. And she wondered how to make an original song for the title Tsing Yi Yeast. It's not that she didn't post songs at Station B during this period, but that she basically posted covers. The way of using original songs every time is too extravagant. So she will also sing some current hot songs. The biggest advantage of cover singing is that you don't need to arrange music. There is a ready-made one on the internet, which saves a lot of effort, but after 6 covers in a row, the fans were a little impatient, and they ran to Station B to privately message her. Ran to Weibo at Chinese letter, hoping that she could make another original song. Ximen Qing took advantage of the strength just now and planned to make another new song. Jin Huyuan nodded. She was really curious about what kind of song Ximen Qing would come up with this time. This time is different Simon Ching said, holding a guitar. And after trying it out, he began to play. She had been learning music-related knowledge before Jin Huiyuan came. But her learning was limited. And the best thing to master should be guitar. Her fingers moved on the strings, which was the melody that she had tried many times before. After a prelude, spoke again, before dawn. In the ink painted by the starry sky. The song she sang this time is called Moon Rainbow, which was originally sung by a band called Bumpaf Chicken. This song is actually quite niche, not a big hit. But Simon Ching likes it very much. I first heard this song in the op of the new show Magic Puppet Circus. As an op person, this song is one of the few that makes him unwilling to drag the progress bar. This is something that even Guren's bow arrow has not done. It's a pity that the fan is too old and not hot enough. Even with this op is not too popular. Simon Ching wants to see how many people like this song in the world like her. At least Jin Huiyuan seemed to listen intently. After playing again, Simon King looked at Jin Huiyuan expectantly. How is it? Jin Huiyuan came back to her, hesitated for a moment, and said the song is very nice. But there are a few places where I played it wrong. Simon nodded excitedly. What's wrong? You teach me. Just from the beginning, so. Next, Jin Huiyuan began to teach Simon King to play the guitar. She is a master guitarist, and Simon Ching's body may have a guitar foundation. So she learns very quickly, one teach her own chain. Unconsciously, the two have reached the point where it is natural to touch hands. Suddenly their two heads bump together, making them recover from the music www, novel MTL. Simon King took the initiative to help Jin Huiyuan rub their heads. Haha. Does it hurt? My head is very hard of. Jin Huiyuan shook her head. Her fear in her heart was much less. People who sing so well shouldn't be too bad, right? In this way they talked all night. The next day was Saturday. Xiaogyo was not in class. Simon Ching and Jin Huiyuan went directly to Pan Taoyuan to record their songs. Red Lotus's bow can be sent directly to Zhou Hong. She sang Moon Rainbow. Because I have been practicing for a night. The recording was very fast this time. Simon Ching played and sang. And the recording was passed directly to Station B. The number of fans of Tsing Yi Yeast at Station B has reached more than 2 million. And gradually it has reached a bottleneck. The fans have not risen as fast as before. When Simon Ching uploaded the new song, many fans who paid special attention to it were immediately reminded, including Chen Guangaming, who was working at a military base. Since that Christmas, Chen Guangaming has become a diehard fan of Tsing Yi Yeast. He listens to every song she makes at the first time, and listens to it repeatedly. Not only had to listen, but he had to sway to the music. Even if he held a drumstick in his hand, had to sway greasy. Recently, Tsing Yi Yeast has produced several covers in succession, and many fans have opinions. What do you say that Jiang Lang is exhausted fooling fans? And so on. Chen Guangaming is not happy anymore. Hearing the voice of Lord Godmother is already the greatest benefit. You gang of unsatisfied guys, what more bicycles do you need? He turned into a keyboard fighter altogether, and sprayed each other with these guys one by one. Who is he? An evolutionary on the side of science and technology. Isn't it easy for a black technology to create a script for squirting people? Of course, is not just a few sprays. He is always aware of reason and emotion, and can spray and change various sprays on the premise of not causing trouble to Tsing Yi Yeast as much as possible. After spraying to the back, no one is his opponent. Chen Guangming is very satisfied. There are only two kinds of people in this world: the Godmother's fan and the deaf. As long as the Godmother speaks up heaven, if she says Baga Hentaino road race, he will be very satisfied. No, it would be better if it were those. Chen Guangaming was yelling at the scene of the Godmother's soft voice cursing in his mind. And there was excitement and enthusiasm in his eyes. Perhaps it was too engrossed in listening to music with headphones. And Chen Guangaming didn't even notice that someone had entered his office. Naturally, Du Zaitung was the one who came. Chen Guangaming was one of the few people in the military base who could chat with him. So the two quickly became friends. Today he came to introduce a friend to Chen Guangaming. As soon as the door opened, He saw Chen Guangming swaying from side to side with a fried chicken leg in one hand. Taking a bite from time to time, his expression was very nasty. Du Zaiting looked at the ceiling, trying to ease his embarrassment. And the friend he brought with him also had a question mark. Is this the tech madman you want to introduce to me? I hope it's not him too. Du Zaiting scratched his head. Should we go out and re-enter? Maybe it's the wrong way to open the door. This has half a dime to do with the way the door is opened. Although his friend said so, he retired with Du Zaiting and then closed the door. Boom boom boom. Du Zaiting knocked on the door this time and then opened the door. Then they saw a serious Chen Guangming sitting on a chair. And the fried chicken legs were neatly placed in the box. Look for me, Chen Guangming smiled. Du Zaiting's friend looked at this scene in surprise. Is it really a problem with the way the door is opened? I just hallucinated. Du Zaiting has already introduced Guangming. Let me introduce this to you. This is my university classmate Bai Kunlun. Now he is in a band, the After the Rain band, do you know? After the Rain band. Chen Guangming thought hard for a while. Then shook his head honestly. This is very embarrassing. Du Zaiting quickly introduced Chen Guangming again. And then the two sides held a friendly handshake. Bai Kunlun's Yuhu band is actually quite famous. At least it was a few years ago. But they have not had any popular songs in recent years. And their popularity has gradually declined, after all. In recent years, the entire entertainment industry has been leaning toward personal design. Your acting skills and singing skills are useless. The key is to have characteristics in play. Bands that focus on music and don't play variety shows like the Rain After band are getting harder and harder to mix. In fact, they are already considering the issue of dissolution. However, they still haven't held a few national tour concerts, with the idea of going back to their hometown to get married after singing these few times. Bai Kunlun wanted to make the concert better. This time he came to Wulin City and talked about it with his old friend Du Zaiting. Du Zaiting introduced Chen Guangming to him. With Chen Guangming's black technology, the concert will definitely make it particularly cool. That's it. Chen Guangming nodded. Of course it's okay to help, but I have a request. Please tell me. Bai Kunlun nodded and exchanged for equal value. It is only natural for Chen Guangming to ask for it. Chen Guangming said, aren't you a very famous band? Can you try to contact Station B to see if you can invite Xing Yi Yeast to be a guest at your concert? Xing Yi Yeast, who is that? As soon as Bai Kunlun finished this sentence, Chen Guangming's expression changed. What? You don't even know your godmother. It seems I have to show you some color, huh? Bai Kunlun was taken aback. This guy wouldn't hit someone if he didn't agree with him. Would he? Chen Guangming suddenly took out a heavy metal glove and put it on, and then snapped his fingers in an instant. His office door closed, and then he didn't know where the light came from, rendering his office colorful. Come on, pick a color. Chen Guangming said to Bai Kunlun with a handful of hair in a pose that he thought was cool. Then white, Bai Kunlun replied subconsciously, who almost thought he was going to beat people with iron gloves. White have vision. Chen Guangming snapped his fingers again. This time all the light in the room turned white. And at the same time, a burst of surround sound sounded in the office. Vegetarian outlines the blue and white brushstrokes that are darker and lighter. This is. Bai Kunlun widened his eyes, blue and white porcelain. Huh, you know, Chen Guangming said. Then you still say you don't know the godmother. I've heard this song www, novel MTL. Bai Kunlun nodded, a very nice song. Is it the original song you just said? He had heard his band members sang Blue and White Porcelain, but he didn't know who actually sang it. And he didn't expect it to be a woman. Singing, he is professional. The singing voice of Chen Guangming's lossless audio surprised him. This singing skill is also great. How can it be so smooth? This rangeath is conversion. And you can't even feel the breath. How big is this lung capacity? Of course it is. Chen Guangming nodded and looked at him eagerly. I don't care what occupation or gender you are. As long as you like godmother, then we are half brothers. Thank you. Bai Kunlun leaned back a bit. and said in his heart, what kind of a half-father is a brother? However, if you can invite the original singer of Blue and White Porcelain as a guest, it seems to be a good memory, I'll try it, Bai Kunlun said. I have been in this circle for so many years. And I still have a bit of face, the concert. How is it possible to go? You said that our sow has just given birth and I am going to have postpartum care. That's it, bye. Ximen Qing hung up the phone and said to Song Yunwu and the others, I just contacted me at Station B and told me that there was a rain band who asked me to be a guest at the concert. It was really inexplicable, I don't want to go out. Rain band, Qin Yuya thought for a while. Suddenly her eyes lit up, is it the rain after band? Yes, it's probably called this. Ximen Qing nodded and then continued to eat. It was just dinner time. And the 5 people in Ziliang Demon Village were all sitting around the dining table. Jin Huyuan has gradually adapted to it. She didn't have the fear at the beginning, in addition. She had a good relationship with Xiaoguai. So the two of them were sitting together for dinner. And she helped to pick up the dishes that Xiaoguai couldn't pick. Qin Yuyao became excited when she heard that Ximen Qing confirmed that it was the Yuhu band. She grabbed Ximen Qing's arm and said, Sister Ximen, go. If it's the rain after band, please go, huh? Ximen Qing didn't expect her to be like this. Are you a fan of this band? Forget it. Qin Yuyao nodded vigorously. Their lead singer is a senior in my high school. High school senior, hearing these 2 words. Ximen Qing immediately felt a bad feeling. She took out her mobile phone and checked it. And she really did, this is a band of all men and no women. Look at the lead singer again, Ma. Why is this man so familiar? Ximen thought carefully. Isn't this the man in the photos I found when I secretly looked at Qin Yuyao's phone before? Contacting Qin Yuyao's reaction after hearing the band's name. Ximen Qing couldn't control her thinking in that direction even if she was unwilling. Isn't she interesting to this man? No. Ximen Qing's eyes sharpened when he felt the crisis. And you must step up to bend Ru Yao, no one can take her away. Snapped suddenly a slipper smashed Ximen Qing's head, smashing her face into the bowl in front of her. Idiot zombie, what are you doing with your chopsticks? Song Yunwu roared, these chopsticks are hard to find. It turned out that Ximen Qing broke the chopsticks in his hand without knowing it. Ximen Qing raised her head, his face covered with rice. The rice is red. And Qin Yuyao specially added red wine when cooking. She subconsciously licked her lips. Then looked at her hand, fuck, who broke my chopsticks? In the hotel where the band stayed after the rain. Bai Kunlun hung up his cell phone awkwardly, Yang Yan. The bassist of his band immediately asked him, how? Did Yeast agree? He is a Yeast fan in the band. He sang Blue and White Porcelain to Kunlun Bai. Bai Kunlun still has a trace of ignorance on his face. Who of you knows how to care for sows after childbirth? What? Bai Kunlun was also a little skeptical of life. During the day, he said that he still had some face in the circle. But he was slapped in the face at night. What kind of postpartum care? It sounds so fake. It is clear that it is an excuse to refuse them, but can't you find a more serious reason? This kind of asterisk excuse is even more hurtful at this moment. Bai Kunlun really felt that he had passed away. And even an internet celebrity could refuse him with this reason. The atmosphere in the room was a bit heavy. And everyone wanted to go together. Forget it, let's be honest. Just as Bai Kunlun spoke, suddenly the phone rang again. Hello, after he picked it up. His face changed several times. Except for some interjections like, oh. Basically nothing else. A few minutes later he hung up the phone. The 3 band partners immediately asked, what's the matter? Kunlun Bai hasn't recovered a bit. The people at Station B said that the sow from the yeast house has escaped with the piglets. So she now has time to come to our concert as a guest, so bring a piglet, prison break. The other 3 members of the band have their eyes widened. Fuck, are they such a good beer, this? What does this mean? Bai Kunlun was a little confused. If the excuse for raising pigs was to reject them, why did he agree to it later? But if it is not an excuse, is Tsingyi Yeast really raising pigs? Reminiscing that a certain big boss seems to be raising pigs. This matter really might not be nonsense, but Why can So's escape from prison with piglets? Simon Ching contacted the Yuhu band through Station B. Then I made some communication about the details of the concert. First of all, she is a guest. It is definitely impossible to sing too many songs. She has been on stage for 10 minutes and sang 2 or 3 songs. Then engage in some interaction, chorus and so on. Because Yeast is a virtual character, she will definitely not be on stage, originally. Simon Ching was planning to put a video in the center of the big screen. In this case, she can even directly let the band members cooperate with her recorded video without having to be there in person. Which looks like a live interaction, but after the Rain band. They told her that they have the latest technology products at the concert. Can directly make the holographic projection of Tsing Yi Yeast. And also have a real-time synchronization function. In other words, Tsing Yi Yeast can break the dimensional wall and directly cooperate with them on the stage. As long as Simon Ching does an action, the Tsing Yi Yeast on the stage can make the same action. Is it so hanging? She was shocked. Has today's technology reached this point? Why doesn't she know? Is it an evolutionary? Simon Love naturally thought of the evolutionary of science fiction www. Novel MTL. These guys have some black technology in their hands. For example, a certain 8 evil spirits who live in the universe can even make a projection to the Earth. Then go to the supermarket to buy things. And directly send potato chips, happy water from the fat house and the like to the space station through space transmission. The holographic projection is still not perfect for humans in 2019. After the Rain, the band actually boasted that they could make a holographic projection. If there is no help from the evolutionary, Simon's Love is definitely not believed. That said, there may be evolutionaries in this band. Simon Ching said to Song Yunwoo, the charter lady. Or you should follow along to see if there are any demons and ghosts at home. And then you take one. Kill him with the falling thunder talisman. Do you have hatred with him? Song Yunwoo looked at her suspiciously. Yes, is the hatred of taking his wife enough? Simon Ching said with a serious face, and while talking, he bit a tomato. And the juice splashed on Song Yunwoo's face again. Song Yunwoo suddenly rolled his eyes. Idiot zombie jit out. Genius remembers this site address in 1 second. Mobile version reading URL, the concert is a week later. And Simon Ching needs to go there to use the motion capture device at that time. Originally Simon's Love would definitely be rejected. But because of the existence of the suspected rival in love, she decided to take a closer look. It really doesn't work. Castrating that guy is also an option. After confirming this matter, Chin Yuyao happily lay on the bed and chat with her girlfriends. Precarious, guess what good news I have, emoji on hips. Zixing Bu, are you pregnant? Precarious, get out. Give you another chance to organize the language. Otherwise you will be friends, baby unhappy expression. Zixing Bu, Tusk. How can the boat of friendship be turned over? I can't guess, is it possible that your bust is bigger again? Who can stand the expression seeing this message? Chin Yuyao subconsciously framed her chest with her hand, it seems. It's a bit bigger. No wonder she feels a little tight in her chest recently. Let's find a time to buy new underwear next time. Picking up the phone, Chin Yuyao replied, it's not this. But I got the concert tickets for the band After the Rain next week. The VIP kind, quickly boasts the baby's expression. Zixing Bu, really, fuck, the big cartoonist is nearby. I've long wanted to go to their concerts. But every time I can only buy tickets for the back row. I can only listen to the people in the seat next to them singing blindly, chicken expression. And I can't hear them at all, and then I stopped going. Precarious Wind and Rain, it has nothing to do with comics. It was my roommate who had the ticket and gave it to me. Zixing Bu, roommate is at Kinger teacher. Wow, I'm so envious if my comics are as popular as you guys. Precarious Wind and Rain, are you going? I will leave you a ticket here. Zixing Bu, go of course, but can you give me 2? Precariously, What's the matter with the little brother's expression? I can hear the smell of torches and gasoline. Zixing Bu, hee. Precarious Wind and Rain, rely on friends die. Waving goodbye emoji. Zixing Bu, what kind of posture is to break a relationship? Slobbering emoji, precarious wind and rain, fuck off. Come to Woolen East Station next week to get tickets. Turning off WeChat. Qin Yuyao suddenly said with emotion, "This guy is out of order. I'm still alone." It suddenly occurred to her that she seemed to be able to live for many years. If she went directly to an ordinary man, she would surely give a black-haired person to a white-haired person, which would be too uncomfortable. Unless there is someone with a lifespan similar to her. She guesses that it is impossible to fall in love in this life. My parents should let them step up to give birth to a second child. Anyway, I don't have to worry about my mother's safety. Otherwise, if they want to hug my grandson in the future. I can't help it thinking of this. Qin Yuyao suddenly envied Liang Xinyu. At least she can get married, and have children normally, and the warmth of the family. And then grow old with her beloved, and she, while completing the evolution. Basically missed these things. Oh, what do you want to do so much? Let's think of something happy. I'm going to the concert soon, in retrospect. My relationship with Liang Xinyu was also because of the Yuhu band. At that time, Bai Kunlun, lead singer of the Yuhu band, returned to his alma mater to give a speech. And Qin Yuyao and the rest of the school sat on the playground to listen. Then Liang Xinyu from the next class camp suddenly approached Qin Yuyao and said that her mobile phone had been handed over by the teacher. And she wanted to borrow Qin Yuyao's mobile phone to use it. At that time, high school students were not allowed to bring mobile phones into the school, and they had to hand them over if they were found. So few people had mobile phones. Qin Yuyao happened to buy a new mobile phone and liked it so much that she took it to the school to go to class secretly. She was not very good at rejecting people, so she lent her new mobile phone to Liang Xinyu. As a result, Liang Xinyu snapped a slap because it was too high and was discovered by the teacher, which caused Qin Yuyao's mobile phone to be handed over. The two of them had no choice but to go to the teacher's office to admit their mistakes. And then they were trained for a while. Since then, they have become good friends. With the release of the last episode of Dragon Babu, the comic circle has also set off a big wave. Suju and Mengu tied the knot naturally. It was a great deal. And he was comforted after losing his parents. But the other two protagonists were miserable. Duanyu finally got Wang Yuyan's heart. His father and his father's wives died clean in one day. As a result, he also knew that he was not his father's own. Although this enabled him to turn all those sisters into a harem. Miserable is still really miserable. Xiao Feng was even harder and hung up directly. He is the most popular male character in the whole work. Many female fans who like Xiao Feng cried violently, and even staged an incense promotion on Weibo. The fighting power of this group of female fans is really fierce, and suddenly pushed this topic to the 10th hot surge. Some people who don't know the 8 parts of the dragon are completely confused. Who is this which great man? Why are there so many people paying homage to him? Of course, there are even more fans who send blades to the 2 teachers of Wuking. Even the most powerful party that has always been the most powerful has been suppressed. Teacher, you pay my husband's life. The hatred of killing a husband is not shared. It's hard to save the eldest brother. Why did you let him die? You are so cruel, I beg you. Let Xiao Feng fall off the cliff and have an adventure. Isn't this routine very common? Let him come to life. Of course. Occasionally there are some male readers who say, I think Xiao Feng is dead is the most perfect portrayal of this character. And they will be immediately besieged by a group of female fans. Why don't you die and directly overwhelm him? Ximen Qing was naturally indifferent to this. Satisfaction. I originally chose the 8 parts of the dragon to be the most gentle to you. If I paint the trilogy of shooting and carving, and wait for the little dragon girl to be ridden, you will not get depression. She consciously is a kind-hearted person. And you reading www.ukanshu.com will not harm readers. So she will definitely not paint the 3 steps of shooting the eagles. It's a bit sad to keep catching Mr. Jin by himself. Then it's time for the new comics to appear. Squat here is the comic of the same name adapted from Infinite Streaming Network Invasion of the Gods. Ximon Qing and their Attack on Titan was released on the same day. On this day, the physical bookstore is still full of people as usual. Everyone wants to see if Squat can even come up with works with cards after the end of Dragon Babu. At the same time, many people are curious as to what kind of comics the Wooking teacher has created after Tian Long Babu. The Fog Seeker says today is gone, add more tomorrow dear. Clicking give a good comment, higher the score. The faster the update. It is said that the new full marks are found at the end of The Beautiful Wife. The new revision and upgrade address of the mobile station, data and bookmarks are synchronized with the computer station. In fresh reading without ads. Boss, here are 3 weekly squat. Lee Yuki walked into the store, lined up 15 coins, and said to the bookstore owner, "Sorry, only the last one is left," the boss said. "Okay, let's get a copy." Lee Yuki is not surprised, because it has been the case almost every time in the past few months. Rather, there is another one that is already considered lucky. Lee Yuki, who was planning to put away 10 coins, suddenly thought of something, and said to the boss, who turned around to pick up the magazine, "Boss, do you have any young friends here?" "Yes," the boss nodded. "You want to see Wooking teacher's new work? I knew someone would buy it, so I went to buy some." "Then come one," Lee Yuki said as he took out another 10 yuan note, and then put away the 10 coins. The boss looked at him strangely. "Wouldn't you give me 5 coins directly?" Lee Yuki said, "I am useful." The boss only thought he was going to take several bus trips, and didn't say much. Lee Yuki, who took 2 magazines out of the bookstore, walked straight to the square in front of the bookstore. There, 2 beautiful female high school students are standing side by side. The one with a single ponytail is Sen Zin, and the one with a double ponytail is Su Kaiyan. "It's just one copy," Lee Yuki said. "Let's change it later." He said that he returned 5 coins to the 2 girls. Su Kaiyan put away the coin and said with a smile, "Why do you look at it and watch it together?" Sen Zin also nodded. She didn't read manga originally, but Lee Yuki and Su Kaiyan liked it, and her father was also watching it. She didn't want to be incompatible with everyone, so she tried to watch it with everyone. Compared to martial arts comics like Dragon Babu, she actually prefers wit comics like The King of Thieves. But if you look at it together, there is actually no difference in any subject matter. So the 3 of them sat side by side on a bench in the park. Lee Yuki opened the magazine in the middle, and the 2 girls leaned over to read it together. The 3 high school students did not notice that behind another bench in the park, a head was coming out quietly, peeping at them with sharp eyes. "Damn." Sen Kainshin gritted his teeth. The silver light in his eyes flickered, wishing to shoot the boy through with his eyes. He was only here to buy a magazine that published the new comics of the leader. Who would have thought that after looking at the park for a while, he would find his daughter here? There's a boy with the daughter. The instinct of being a father made him feel that someone was going to pick up his little padded jacket. When he came back to his senses, he was already hiding behind the bench thiefly. Seeing that his daughter was not defensively sticking to a boy, he was trembling with anger. Zinner has always been a good boy. Who is it who caused her to be bad? So she fell in love early. No way, it won't work anymore. He has already started to fill up a big family ethics drama in his mind. Why did you can't understand me? Forget it. I don't want to live with you anymore. Slammed out the door. Zinner, don't leave. Don't leave my father alone. Erkang hands. After thinking about it this way, tears flowed out. Some people passing by saw him like this and moved away, for fear that it was a neurosis that suddenly violently attacked people. "Mom, what's that?" A passing little girl pointed to Sen Kainshin and asked her mother. "Don't finger randomly." Her mother immediately pressed her hand, picked up her daughter and ran. Sen Kainshin didn't realize this, and was always trying to kill the bad boy who lied to his daughter with his eyes. Hey, Lee Yuki shuddered suddenly, and Su Kaiyan and Sen Zin, who were close to him, naturally noticed. "What happened to you?" "I don't know, but suddenly there is an ominous feeling." "What is that?" "I don't know, forget it, let's continue reading comics." After watching Invasion of the Gods, they went on to read the new comics about dance. Attack on Giant. Did Mr. Wooking not paint martial arts this time? To be honest, Lee Yuki was a little disappointed. The Babu of Heavenly Dragon still left him unsatisfied. As a result, Mr. Wooking changed the theme this time. The three of them read the first episode of The Giant together. Because there are not many high-quality works serialized on Juvenile Manu, The Giant occupies a relatively large space, with more than 50 pages serialized in one breath, and JOJO compared with each other. But these more than 50 pages only included the first chapter of Giant. After watching, the three of them had different expressions. It looks like it's a bit general. Su Kyan took the lead to speak. She went to read this manga with the same expectation of Dragon Babu. But at the beginning, it can only be said that she will pass. There is no special featuring, it is not cool. A large dialogue, to be honest. If the pen name is not Dancing Love, she may have skipped over after reading a few pages. Lee Yuki felt the same way. After reading the entire first episode, he didn't find the passion for watching Dragon Babu before. However, the trust in the teacher of Dancing Love made him feel that this cartoon still has merits. Senzin said, "This first episode looks more like a foreshadowing. So many conversations have buried a lot of foreshadowing. And I am a little curious about how it will develop next." "It's a pity," Lee Yuki said. Teacher Wooking's out of chapter is still so sloppy. But it's stuck in a position where it can't be better. It would be nice if you could see the second sentence. Then you have to wait a week. At this point, none of the three can do anything about it. Fortunately, there were other comics on Squat that I didn't read. So the three of them got together and looked at it again. Smelly boy, stay away from my daughter. Behind the bench, Sen Kyanshin gritted his teeth. But he didn't dare to rush out now. What if his daughter gets angry and wants to run away from home? He took out his cell phone and spoke in a group called Tsingyi at all members. What should I do if my daughter was abducted by Yi Zaya Ozi? Wait online, anxious. After a while, the group of friends who were it out of him all spoke. The law protector is going to marry his daughter. Congratulations, when to have a wedding wine. I will prepare more gift money. www. novelmtl. When will the guardian hug my grandson? Do you want us to think of a name? I think Sen Fan is a good name. Marry your sister. Wedding wine, your brother-in-law, grandson, your uncle. Sen Kyanshin was almost crying. This is a group of sand sculpture friends, in other words. He remembered that Tsingyi teaching was not like this before. Everyone is united, friendly, harmonious, and full of positive energy. Later, a sand sculpture entered the teaching. And gradually the entire Tsingyi teaching style was biased. It's all that kid. I really should have grabbed his leg and tore it to the sides. Just like tore a roast duck. It's a thorn, nothing is going to happen. At the same time, Ziliang Demon Village, Simon King, who was sleeping in bed, suddenly twitched. Oh. Xiamen Qing opened her eyes and looked at her lower body subconsciously. Fortunately, it was not torn in half. How come you have such a strange dream? She muttered, preparing to get up, now that she woke up. She was not going to lie in bed, her chest tightness. What can I do? Do you play games? Shilian knelt yesterday, and she has no interest in playing now. Go to harass the charter wife and Ru Yao. Well, this is not bad, even if she went out quietly. She wore a black kickback regardless of her body. So she touched Chin Yuyao's room quietly like a cat. Wow. Morning attack. As soon as Ximen Qing opened the door, he saw an empty room. This made her stunned for a moment. What about people? Where did Chin Yuyao go early in the morning? Forget it, then go to the charter wife. Ximen Qing closed the door and touched the clouds towards the sky. As a result, a door opened before she touched the doorknob. Song Yunwoo looked at her thief and knew what she was doing without even thinking about it. Immediately took off a slipper. Seeing that the secret path was not good, Ximen Qing immediately turned around and ran. Don't run. Idiot zombie, stop. Song Yunwoo chased after him. I promise not to kill you. Help Taoist fights zombies. The two ran downstairs one after the other. In the living room, to a Loliani large and one small. We're watching TV. The two simultaneously glanced in the direction of the stairs, and then simultaneously turned back to watch TV. As if nothing had happened, Ximen Qing and Song Yunwoo ran and chased each other. and went back and forth several times in the villa. Fortunately, Ziliang Demon Village was big enough and didn't bump into anything in the end. Ximon King accidentally stepped on the sunlight coming in through the French windows. Breathed tilde and suddenly slowed down. Song Yunwoo took the opportunity to ride on her back and pressed her to the floor. I let you wear no clothes, I let you attack in the morning. I let you run around. Tilde, Ximon Ching kept making screams almost panting. Opposite Ziliang Yezhuang Qin Yuya, who was sitting in the living room, looked back and said, Is Sister Ximon dead again? Opposite her, Ajani was eating buns with enjoyment, their cheeks bulging, and a happy smile filled her face. Eat slowly. Qin Yuya pushed a glass of water over and said, Don't choke. Ajani drank her saliva and said to her, Thank you, I don't know how to repay you anymore. Not only did she take me in, but she also gave me breakfast every day. It's just a small matter, Qin Yuya smiled. Heart said, I can't let you come in contact with others. So it's really helpful for you to live here. I heard that you accidentally owed more than 10 billion a few days ago. Ajani asked again. Qin Yuya didn't think too much and nodded, Well, I accidentally lost control of my ability. Oh, this is not good, it's a lot of 10 billion. Ajani said with emotion. She shook her fingers and calculated, 1 bun is 5 yuan. 10 buns 15 yuan billion. How many buns do you get? Do you like buns very much? Qin Yuya asked. Ajani is obviously a Frenchman, and she doesn't like French cuisine. Instead, she has a soft spot for steamed buns. Yeah, how good a bun is, Ajani said. Even if it falls on the ground and throws it in the trash can, you can eat it by tearing off the outermost layer of skin. Qin Yuya suddenly felt a little distressed after hearing this. Just when she didn't pay attention, Ajani suddenly said, Don't worry. Good people will definitely be rewarded. I believe you will pay off the tens of billions soon. Thank you. Qin Yuya only thought she was comforting herself and didn't care too much. Sent breakfast to Ajani. After she packed her things, she was ready to go to the editorial office of Young Manu. Jojo's first book is about to be published. Zhou Hong intends to let her take some photos and place them in the booklet as a benefit to support the original copy. So she has to be a model again today. By the way, bring the manuscript of the third part of Jojo. After the warm-up of the first part, the popularity of the second part, Jojo, has risen a lot. Some people who play Jojo stocks have gradually appeared on the internet. The most famous one is indeed the I'm not a man. Dior's magical expression was put on the faces of various characters by netizens. And the smile is very outstanding. When Qin Yuya got on the subway, she saw a few boys who looked like junior high school students running into the carriage. After one of them came in with his hands on his hips, he puffed up angrily. The other one crouched down, crossed his hands on his chest and pointed upwards. The remaining one is to touch the right temple with the left hand, touch the left waist with the right hand, and stand on tiptoes. In addition to the 3 of them, there was a boy taking pictures there saying, Wow. Thieves' standard, that is. The 3 brothers under the moon are expensive, right? The picture was painted by Qin Yuya herself, and she naturally recognized it at a glance. Such a shameful gesture can be displayed. These guys should be the so-called second illness, right? To be honest, Qin Yuya didn't have any real feelings when he painted it. But when he saw that someone did this in reality, Qin Yuya subconsciously turned her head away and dared not look at it again. Even so, she could still hear the children shouting, I am the number 1 in technology in Germany. And your next sentence is, even wearing big sunglasses and a knitted hat is still very embarrassing. Qin Yuya suddenly thought. Her friends now know that they are drawing Jojo. What would they think of her after seeing such a shameful action? No wonder she always feels that her cousins look weird when they look at her during the Chinese New Year. And it is only now that she has come to realize that she was hesitant to talk. Should I be considered a freak by them? But those movements were all designed by Sister Ximon. Qin Yuya regrets it. www. novelmtl.com. If she didn't agree to Zhou Hong to shoot the cover, everyone would not know that Jojo was painted by her. Just when she was depressed, Several young boys who were doing JOJO Lee suddenly bumped into a passenger on the side. Patter, a dark object fell from the passenger. He quickly leaned over to pick up the things. And the movements were so fast that no one of the passengers could see clearly. Except Chin Yuyo, after the big discharge that day. She found that her physical fitness had been greatly strengthened, especially her dynamic vision. She clearly saw that the black object that fell was actually a pistol. How come there are guns in China? Huagyu is very strict on gun management. Is this man in plain clothes? Chin Yuyao suddenly felt a little uneasy in her heart. She felt that since she had such a strong power, it should be fine to make a little effort in this area. If this man suddenly shoots in the car, the most dangerous ones are her little fans. Chin Yuyao kept secretly paying attention to the man with the gun through her sunglasses. At the same time, she scanned the carriage again. If this is a plainclothes, it means that there are some dangerous people in the subway who need him to keep an eye on. But Chin Yuyao didn't notice anything unusual. The man got out of the car after one stop. Chin Yuyao had to sit for a few more stops, but she decided to follow and get off. Without Song Yunwoo's invisibility charm, she had to be more careful. Fortunately, she has a keen movement, and the man in front has not been able to find her after turning his head several times. Such sneaky, there must be a problem. Chin Yuyao became more convinced of the guess in her heart, thinking about whether to call the police. She can walk over knowing convince the guy with her charm, and then make a phone call and wait for the police to deal with it. But she still wanted some evidence, and wanted to see if this guy had any accomplices. So he followed for a while, and the man entered a path that was basically empty. Chin Yuyao followed cautiously. The man seemed to be waiting for someone. He made a call, "I'm here, come out and get things." A few minutes later, the two young men came out. Chin Yuyao watched the man hand the gun to one young man, while the other young man took the mobile phone to transfer the money to him. Almost seeing this, Chin Yuyao decided to come forward. She no longer hides her figure, and prepares to take off her glasses to show her charm to the three of them. Then she will ask them for some information and hand it over to the police uncle for processing. However, when she put her hand on the frame of her sunglasses, she heard the young man with the gun say, "Oh, this texture is the same as a real gun, of course. The prop master of our crew is awesome. You think it's the traffic crew who don't mind. Niyupi Niyubai, this thing is so handsome," said the young man. "You will have this kind of props and sell us in the future. It's not much. I can still use a handful of them as an excuse to scrap them. And I will be discovered if they are more. All right, I'll contact you next time when there is stock." Good. When several people were chatting, Chin Yuyao pretended to be a passerby and passed them silently. After walking a certain distance, Chin Yuyao stuck out her tongue in embarrassment. "Oh, there are so many cartoons. People have become second-in-class and terrorists. Chin Yuyao, can Yuyao please be more sober?" She knocked on her head, ready to continue to take the subway to the studio. However, just as she thought about it, when she walked out a few steps, a person suddenly fell from the sky and directly smashed the ground in front of her into a deep pit of a cobweb crack. Wow, Chin Yuyao was taken aback. The abilities of the evolutionary are all sorts of strain. Some people can spray water, some can breathe fire. Some can fly into the sky, and some can transform. Such a variety of abilities will naturally have a certain degree of influence on the personality of the evolutionary. There's such a group of people. They like to jump around between tall buildings without any safety measures. They like to climb those snow-covered peaks with their bare hands. Like to drift in twisted U-shaped bends. All kinds of extreme sports bring the excitement is their pursuit. And if there are evolutionaries among such people, it is conceivable that the projects they can challenge will inevitably become even more exaggerated. For example, for some basic evolutionists, parkour on the edge of the building without safety measures can no longer bring them any excitement. They may choose to climb Mount Everest by bare hands, or parachuting with an umbrella, or surfing in the tsunami. All in all, it is a fancy way to die. As long as you do not die, you will die. And the most disturbing of these people is a group of guys who are not satisfied with the existing sports. Skiing, surf, rock climbing, none of that's too lofty. Isn't there a better choice for an evolutionary? For example, going to Africa to participate in an armed coup, going to the Middle East to be a reporter on the battlefield, and challenging other evolutionists. The news of the birth of an evil spirit in the country of flowers spread quickly in the mysterious alliance. And soon almost everyone knew the news. People with normal brains will naturally want to stay as far away as possible. Some evolutionaries who originally planned to travel to Hua country temporarily adjusted their itineraries. In Zayakong City was directly out of their travel plans. But if it is a person with abnormal brains, they will thank the new 8 evil spirits. Do you want to die? Extreme Ronin is formed by a group of people who like to challenge the limit in the mysterious alliance. Their aim is to pursue a more exciting life. It is worth mentioning that, in addition to the people in this organization, they are also richer than each other. Most normal people cherish their lives, and only those who don't need to struggle at all need some external stimulation because they can't find a goal. This timiach of them put together a part. A total of 2 billion meters of knives were collected as the final reward. The challenge is to take a photo with the newly born 8 evil spirits. The distance between the two must not exceed 0.5 meters and they must have a face, yes. Even a group of Ronin who likes to die. Taking a photo with the 8 evil spirits is already the most extreme sport they can think of. There used to be people who wanted to fight the 8 evil spirits. But then their graves grew grass. Whoever can be the first to post a photo with the 8 evil spirits on Twitter. Whoever can get that 2 billion, this is not an easy task. The first thing they have to face is the customs of Hua country. Because this group of guys are too good at death, they have been included in the list of dangerous people by Hua Guo. Even if they can enter the flower country through normal channels, they will be watched for 24 hours. Once they take any dangerous actions, they will be forcibly repatriated immediately. And being close to the 8 evil spirits is naturally also included in the dangerous move. For example, the foreign man who fell in front of Qin Yuyao www. Novel MTL com his name is Sadie. He has many oil fields in his family. And he is a real big tyrant. He entered the flower country in the name of investment. And then sneaked out to find Qin Yuyao. He is a science fiction evolutionary. The ability comes from the Force in Star Wars, of course. Because he is not the original seed. He cannot reproduce the various abilities of the original Force 100%. But only possesses the 5 abilities of strengthening physical functions, attacking defense, longevity, and moving objects in the air. And the intensity is not very exaggerated, however. Before he got close to Ziliang Demon Village, he was intercepted in midair. The shot was a master of the Mao family, with Feng Bo bloodline. In front of the wind, it's useless to be invisible. Sadie was hit hard from the sky to the ground, and fell in front of Qin Yuyao by accident. Qin Yuyao was startled, and then saw the falling object in front of him slowly rising up. Oh, Sadie stood up swayingly and said in Arabic. This is really exciting. Qin Yuyao wanted to ask him if there was anything wrong. But before he could ask, the other party found her first. How Sadie began to say in floral language. Beautiful lady, it's nice to meet you. If you are an ordinary person, you may respond with polite words like thank you. I am also glad to meet you, but who is Qin Yuyao? She subconsciously vomited, I am wearing sunglasses and a mask. How do you see that I am beautiful? Sadie found that his level of flower language seemed to be insufficient for this level of conversation. And for a while he didn't know what to say. But he didn't forget that he was being chased. He looked around, and immediately jumped into the path Qin Yuyao had just come. Before he left, he didn't forget to say, picking the cocoon to her. As for whether an ordinary person saw such an unscientific scene or not, he felt unnecessary. Anyway, there is no photo or video. So I just went to tell people that the big hole on the ground was smashed by someone. Who would believe it? Is this also an evolutionary? What is he doing? Qin Yuyao felt baffled. Just when she was about to follow up and take a look, suddenly another figure fell from the sky and landed in front of her. This time it landed smoothly, not as rough as Sadie. This is a woman in her 20s with short hair. A baseball cap-style police coppa police uniform. Slender thighs and shiny leather shoes on her feet. Hey, I ran very fast, the policewoman's sister muttered. And then looked at Chin Yuyao. She suspected that Chin Yuyao was pretending to be Sadie. Or an associate of Sadie, so she took a closer look. Hello. Please take off your sunglasses and mask. And show your ID card, thank you for your cooperation. She took out her ID and showed it to Chin Yuyao. Oh. Chin Yuyao nodded, then took off her sunglasses and mask. While picking her up, he pointed to the side road and said, "If you look for the man who fell just now, he has already run over there." The sister of the policewoman followed her hand and looked at it. Okay. I see, thank you for the clues. Although she knew the clues of the other party, she still planned to check Chin Yuyao so as not to be deceived. After all, it is generally impossible for a normal person to be so calm after seeing a person fall from the sky. However, when she looked back and saw Chin Yuyao's face, the expression on her face instantly changed from calm to fright. It's probably like this, Mom, how is she? It was because of the last power outage that she and some other evolutionaries were transferred to Xiaokong City. She naturally knew the culprit of the blackout, what the newly born 8 evil spirits looked like. But she never expected that she would meet her in such a place. Hello, I'm disturbing you. Out of awe of the 8 evil spirits, Tao Siki's tone suddenly became cautious at the same time. Her hand behind her back is holding a mobile phone to send messages to her colleagues. She asked to prove whether what she was in front of her was the real Chin Yuyao or the fake Chin Yuyao who had the ability to change. Through the headset, she received confirmation from her colleague that Chin Yuyao had indeed got off from a nearby subway station just now. And the place where she finally disappeared into the surveillance range was at the other end of the small road next to them. So 99% of the people in front of him were Chin Yuyao, who didn't run away. Do you know me? Chin Yuyao could naturally see the change in attitude. Tao Siki did not deny, yes, oh. Chin Yuyao nodded without much surprise. After becoming the 8 evil spirits, it is not difficult to understand that her appearance will be known by the official evolvers. She had heard about it from Ximen Qing, and she was psychologically prepared. What happened to that person just now? Chin Yuyao asked out of curiosity. Tao Siki replied, that person was called Sadie just now, an oil merchant in Dubai. He came to Xiaokong this time for investment negotiations. But because he is an evolutionary, so in order to prevent him from doing bad things, we were staring at the matter in secret. And we found out that I had sneaked out of the hotel just now. I tried to take him back to the hotel, but he ran away. Just to take him back to the hotel. Chin Yuyao subconsciously looked at the big pit on the ground. This action was a bit big. He is very strong. If I keep my hand, I may not be able to win him. Tao Siki said bad things. Chin Yuyao thought for a willing to ask. Will he do any terrorist attacks? Would you like me to help? No need, Tao Siki quickly refused. If Chin Yuyao is allowed to take action, God knows whether it will cause more damage. And she didn't know if it was an illusion. She seemed to see a trace of excitement in Chin Yuyao's eyes. Oh, all right. Chin Yuyao, who was rejected, was a little bit disappointed. But he bid farewell to Tao Siki and rushed to the studio. Tao Siki breathed a sigh of relief, and then asked her colleagues to look at Chin Yuyao well. They dare not keep a close eye on them. They can only monitor them. And it's not specially installed surveillance, but the kind that already exists on the street. Therefore, if Chin Yuyao enters an unmonitored area, they will not be able to obtain her specific information. So they can only wait for her to appear on the surveillance screen again. When Chin Yuyao arrived at the subway station, when he was waiting for the train, he suddenly found that the person standing next to him was a bit familiar. It's you, Chin Yuyao looked at Sadie in surprise. She didn't expect to meet him here. Obviously, he ran away from the subway just now. Doesn't it mean Tao Siki chased him? Sadie also found out that Chin Yuyao, oh, it's you. Chin Yuyao's complaints would definitely not be forgotten in a short time. He suddenly said, are you also an evolutionary? Think about it carefully. www.novelmtl It is impossible for a normal person to see him hit such a big hole and still have the thought to complain about him. And he has been carefully dismantled and confident that even monitoring can deceive. Jin Yuyo actually took a look, recognizing it. If this is an ordinary person, he will broadcast the Japanese pangolin. Jin Yuyo nodded, I know who you are. The local tyrant in Dubai called Sabai. It's Sadie, Sadie said with a black line. My Chinese is actually very good, I know what Sabi means. Just as the subway arrived, the two of them entered the carriage together. Jin Yuyo asked him, what are you doing when you sneak out of the hotel? For the time being, she still didn't see any dangerous tendency of Sadie. So she planned to make idioms. Sadie looked at her vigilantly, then why does the police tell you everything? Are you the boss of the police? No, I'm a cartoonist. Jin Yuyo shook the drawing in her hand and said. The morning attack failed. And Xiamen Qing was tied to the handrail of the stairs. The rope is tied with artistic characteristics. It is a standard tortoise-shell tie. Song Yunwoo put a bag of sucked jelly blood in it into her mouth as breakfast. You can honestly reflect on me here. Xiamen Qing wanted to speak. But she was afraid that the blood in her mouth would fall off. So she could only make a whining sound just like biting a gag. Xiaoguai and Jin Huyun squatted aside, looking at her curiously. Xiaoguai poked Xiamen Qing curiously, ooh. Children don't poke everything. Xiamen Qing's words were obviously not understood. And Jin Huyun also poked curiously. Xiamen Qing stared at Song Yunwoo, ooh. I will attack you in the morning when I am free. Do you still want to attack me in the morning? Song Yunwoo pulled a slipper on her cushion. Believe it or not, next time I tie you under the sun, woo. Damn, how do you understand? Xiamen Qing was shocked, so she had to obediently get down. Song Yunwoo took too lowly away. Children don't look at this kind of things. They will grow needles, in this way. Xiamen Qing was tied to the foot of the stairs alone, at first. She took a sip of blood and was able to enjoy it beautifully. But the blood bag was originally relatively small. And she was sucked up in a short while. Xiamen Qing tried to stick her tongue into the inner wall of the plastic opening and lick it. But her tongue couldn't be so small. So she finally had to spit out the blood bag with a baw. It's boring. When will the charter-in-law come to let me? She grinned her teeth and tried to bite the rope tied to her. However, Song Yunwoo also posted a talisman on the handrails of the stairs. Just like the Wuzhishin that suppressed Monkey King. With this talisman, it would be impossible for Xiamen Qing to break free. Is this the legendary placement play? Xiamen Qing was suddenly shocked. The charter wife really loves me, but it's a bit irritating. She began to rub her legs unconsciously. She had just drunk a pack of blood. And there was a lot of water in her body that needed to be discharged. Hey chartered woman, I need to go to the bathroom. Little boy Huyun, is there any someone to help me? At least get a basin. Xiamen Qing yelled, but no one responded. Did you go out? Thinking about it carefully, the charterer seemed to have changed her coat just now. She is the only one left in the entire Ziliang demon village. What to do then? Xiamen Qing subconsciously looked at the door. And on the opposite side of the door was the creature closest to her. No, I can't ask her for help even if I spray water. If you ask a Johnny for help, it is estimated that not only will things not get better, they may even get worse. For example, the phone suddenly turned on and recorded a scene that she couldn't hold. And then posted it on Weibo. Hey, I feel terrible even thinking about it. But how can this situation be solved now? Is it really necessary to solve it on the spot? Women's bodies are troublesome. If the dragon is still there, it's okay to endure such a thing. Xiamen Qing missed her own dragon very much now. At this moment, she suddenly found a strange light flashing through the mirror at the hallway. Hey. Xiamen Qing is now tied to the end of the stair railing on the first floor. And you can directly see the entrance through the straight corridor. She looked at the floor mirror curiously. And suddenly a suction came and she felt her body lightened. Then and nothing happened, illusion. She tilted her head. But the pressure on her bladder quickly made her too late to take care of it. Oh, it won't work, it's going to leak out. Xiamen Qing struggled subconsciously but with a snap. The rope on her body was actually broken, huh? She looked back and found that the sign of the charter wife had disappeared without knowing when. Did it disappear regularly? How could the charter wife be so soft-hearted? Zyminking scratched his head. Oh, don't care about it. Let me go first. She ran into the toilet and did not realize that a woman appeared behind her. It was a white man with curly chestnut hair and a few small freckles on his face. This person is named Danielle Quinn, the daughter of a rich American, and a member of the Extreme Ronin. Idiot Sadie, even you want to get ahead of me. Danielle smiled slightly. She is the evolutionary of science fiction supernatural power species. And her ability is to travel through the mirror world. Not only can I enter the world of mirrors, but also draw people into the world of mirrors. She can pull in even the 8 evil spirits. But usually she would not do this, because her ability is really only that. If the 8 evil spirits are drawn into the mirror world, people want to kill him like killing a muggle. And she can only bring people in, but can't stop people from going out. So there is no way for people who are sleepy to do it, by the way. The dividing method of pulling half and leaving the other half is not acceptable. There is no denying that this ability has a strong strategic significance. It can be said to be quite bug. But Danielle did not use it in some special places. Her father is super rich and doesn't need her ability to help. At the same time, she is required to conceal this ability from everyone to prevent outsiders from plotting against Danielle. So even among the ultimate Ronin, no one knows the truth about her ability since childhood. Danielle has no life pursuits and gradually fell in love with extreme sports. Only the stimulation between life and death can make her feel truly alive. Although 3 billion rice knives are quite a lot. What she wants more is the stimulus of her heartbeat to her throat when she is close to the 8 evil spirits. And the shocked gaze of her partners after taking a group photo. www. Novel MTL, it took a while. In the morning, this villa is full of cameras. As long as I can get close to her to 0.5 meters. I can take a photo of the front face at any time. And then I can send her out. Danielle was holding a small piece of makeup mirror in her hand. The size of the mirror is not a problem, as long as the clarity and stability are high enough. Even a piece of debris can directly pull a person out of the world. But sending someone out also requires a process. If Zyman Ching reacts in such a short period of time, then she will be finished. This is a hand speed. Thinking of this, Danielle felt that the blood in her whole body began to accelerate. Which was really exciting. She just went to the bathroom. Danielle was afraid of being discovered, so she hadn't dared to appear in a position where the mirror could be seen. She pulled people completely by induction. Just now she sensed a super powerful existence, and she didn't need to think about it to know that it was the 8 evil spirits. So she pulled indecisively. Although the leader of Tsingyi has a fierce reputation, ancient information dissemination was not developed, and she herself rarely appeared in front of people. So at present, not many people in the entire mysterious alliance know the appearance of Zyman's love. The members of the Extreme Ronin Club only knew that the newly promoted 8 evil spirits Qin Yuyao lived in Ziliang Demon Village, but did not know that there actually lived another 8 evil spirits here. Therefore, Danielle recognized this powerful existence as Qin Yuyao. When Zyminking ran into the toilet just now, she hid behind and did not see her face clearly. Danielle came quietly outside the toilet door. She wore shoes of special material on her feet, which could silence the sound perfectly, and walked lighter than a cat. She held her breath and stood by the door, waiting for Qin Yuyao to come out. And the distance between the two would be shortened to less than 0.5 meters. Then the camera opposite the toilet door will take this scene. The action must be fast if you don't send her out in time. I guess it will be miserable. Danielle's heart was beating, pressing her chest, but fortunately had enough fat. Otherwise the heartbeat might reveal her. Wow. The toilet door was opened. Zyman Ching came out from inside. Weird. Who installed the toilet switch upside down? She originally only wore a kickback, and she took it off when she went to the toilet. So now it's exactly like a baby as soon as she left the house. She suddenly felt weightlessness in her body. What's wrong? What happened? Xiamen Qing looked around but found nothing unusual. Illusion? No. Just now because I was too anxious, I didn't think so much. Now Xiamen Qing calmed down and thought about it carefully, and immediately discovered many abnormalities. She hurriedly returned to the toilet to take a look. And sure enough, the toilet switch that had been reversed just now had returned to normal. She immediately ran to the stairs again. The charter wife's talisman was still there, and the rope she broke was intact. She thought for a while, always feeling as if she had encountered a similar situation before. Right, that mirror girl, more than 100 years ago. Xiamen Qing had seen an evolutionary with the ability to travel through the world in the mirror. After analyzing so many clues before, she immediately realized that she might have been drawn into the mirror world just now. But why did you pull me in, just to let me go to the bathroom? Thinking of this, Xiamen Qing hurried back to the room to get dressed. I don't know if it is a man or a woman. If it is a man, she must burn that guy. Along the way, Xiamen Qing consciously observes the mirror. If there are people in the world in the mirror, he can see through the mirror. However, nothing was found. What's the purpose of this man? When did he come? This ability is very troublesome. Once the other party harbors malicious intent, the person being targeted will have trouble sleeping and eating. Xiamen Qing's expression suddenly became serious, and she went downstairs to open the refrigerator and took out a bottle of red wine. This is the 87-year Raphite sent by the Wolf King Holland. Since the Chinese New Year, Xiamen Qing has discovered that red wine and blood can allow her to temporarily control her ability. But like Kananit is only temporary, and the same kind of red wine is still resistant, and the effect will become weaker after drinking too much, so she usually doesn't touch it much. Today's sudden situation reminded her of some bad memories, so she took out the red wine decisively. There are blood packs in the refrigerator. It is her dinner today. Xiamen Qing exchanged the two at a ratio of 1:1, and then drank it in one gulp. The moment the blood wine entered her throat, a spell mark on the back of her neck suddenly shattered, and at the same time a bunch of flames emerged from the tip of her hair. Her pupils also changed from normal maroon to crimson, as if flames were dancing in them. The other side. The world in the mirror. Danielle ran to the laptop excitedly and opened the video recorded at the toilet door. This camera has very high pixels, and every frame can be used as wallpaper, so she doesn't worry about the blurry shots at all. In the video, Danielle makes faces while another woman is standing beside her. The woman was wearing nothing, and Danielle was a little ashamed of her perfect carcass. It's so beautiful, Tilda. After subconsciously sighing, Danielle suddenly realized something was wrong. This is not Chen Yuao. Who is she? When she opened the information, she suddenly realized that the woman in the camera was actually Qin Yuyao's bold cartoon. And the cartoonist's sentiment. But I obviously brought in an 8 evil spirit. Why is it her? Danielle didn't think it was a problem with her ability. So the only explanation is, this person is also an 8 evil spirit. Because the result was so shocking, Danielle couldn't accept it at once. If this beauty is really the 8 evil, then who will she be? She had basically seen the pictures of the 8 evil spirits, but none of them matched this person. The only thing left was the mysterious Tsingyi leader. She is the leader of Tsingyi. Danielle's breathing stopped for a moment. Considering that this is the country of flowers, this woman is far more likely to be the leader of Tsingyi than she is the 8 evils unknown to the world. Sex has to come. God, what did I do just now? I actually took a close-up photo with the master Tsingyi. After realizing what a terrifying thing he had done, Danielle convulsed all over, only feeling too high. Taking a photo with the leader of Tsingyi is more exciting than taking a photo with Qin Yuyao. She feels that if she takes this photo out, it doesn't matter if she can't win the last 3 billion. Anyway, she must be the most hungry. They will definitely envy me. Danielle thought so and processed the video with ease. She just likes to take risks and doesn't want to die. So this kind of video recording the 8 evil snails must not be kept. She only needs the ones above the chest. To say that the quality of this camera is good. Even if it is a part of it is still very clear. Transfer the clipped video to the U-disk. And then she was about to leave. The world in the mirror will be refreshed every once in a while. Everything that does not belong to the world in the mirror will disappear. So she doesn't need to destroy the video materials. Leaving them alone will disappear. And she herself must leave as soon as possible. Otherwise she will also disappear. And then there will be no bones left. The time for this refresh is limited by the evolutionary's ability. At present the longest Danielle can last is 50 hours. Which is a little more than 2 days, however. Even though she had already taken a photo with the leader of Tsingyi, Danielle still did not give up her plan to take a photo with Qin Yuyao. If you get 2 group photos, wouldn't it be even more embarrassing? She felt it. And sure enough, there was still a powerful presence of the 8 evil ranks in the villa opposite. The Fog Seeker says, "Thanks to the following book friends for their rewards. Thank you for your support, too many names. There may be repetitions, please forgive me." The fate continues with the Win www, novel MTL. The Lingering Brave 600 book friends 16,121,123,544,235. Book friends 20,181,113,513,426 Late Summer Chang. Pests on Fire QA Orange Feathers 5,000 words. Flying Fish That Can Run Happy Freezing Gilusuri Cherry. Sea of Tears Broken Death G, FDGVFDV The Emptiness of Dying. The modified name is so expensive Nike 3 Long Cloud tilde. Swift D Leakat Eats Meat 500 Heavenly White 2400. Unix Knife 300 Running Fast Adolf Doreg. Book Friend 20,180,730,203,934,733 Tumbling Fathead Fish 200. Hemudu Ape Man Loves to Read Lvben Lone Person on Person. Leave Your Books Musician Lu Yaoyu Inc. Dai Wuhan Yulyo Degrees. Set So Cute Must Be a Boy Flashy Like a Dream Butterfly. West Wind Blows Night Falls Krypton Gold Certificate. Dungeon Nangong 12,138 Sai Orniu Mikwei. Watching the Starry Sky LX Zinjia Night of Drunk Flowers. Phoenix Hydramoon Dance TIA NSH Ro S Japanese Letter Handsome Chinese Letter. Military Angel Yunling Yan Buddhism Zaya Shang. Hongfei Ancient Moon Shadow Bamboo Jujub Sen Shen 100. It turned out to be the opposite. Daniel believed that this time it must be Qin Yuyao. It is impossible to live 8 evil spirits in one place. If this is the case, then the god of water won't have a headache. Danielle picked up the backpack on the side and turned the window out of Ziliang Demon Village. The backpack contained pinhole cameras. She has money in her family, so she is very willful. She bought hundreds of cameras in one go and planned to throw them away. Although Danielle is basically an ordinary person, except for the abilities of the legendary world in the mirror, she also exercises regularly. And her skills are not much better than those of ordinary special forces. Turning through the window from the second floor is just a trivial matter. She ran to the opposite villa quickly and started to install the camera while avoiding the mirror. She didn't know that in the Ziliang Demon Village at this time, Ximen Qing was holding a mirror and shining at the toilet door. Ximen Qing has dealt with evolvers with the same ability, so she knows some details of this ability. The world in the mirror is fixed when the capable person enters, no matter how it changes in reality. The world in the mirror will not change until her ability disappears and the whole world is refreshed again. It's like taking a frame of reality temporarily and then creating a copy. In other words, people in the world in the mirror cannot see the mirror she is holding now, because in that world Thai's mirror is still on the table. But Ximen Qing can see the world in the mirror through the mirror. In addition, according to the strength of the evolver, the world in this mirror is limited in scope. Basically a spherical range centered on the evolver. Once this range is exceeded, the dungeon will automatically collapse and become an ordinary mirror image. So as long as you find that the scene seen in the mirror is different from the reality, you can be sure that the person using this ability is nearby. Xiamen Qing saw the humble pinhole camera on the wall opposite the toilet through the mirror. And looked back at the wall. In reality, there was none there. So it really is that kind of ability. Xiamen Qing said to herself, is that guy or her offspring? But no matter what, 80% of her snail photos were taken. This is something she absolutely can't allow others to see. If it's a beautiful woman, just grab it and beat her. And let her leave everything in the mirror world. If not, then burn it. When Xiamen Qing said this, the snow on the top of the mountain began to melt. Sophia Jani, who was eating steamed buns in the opposite villa, suddenly looked around in confusion. Why is it suddenly warmer? I didn't turn on the air conditioner. When Xiamen Qing was inspecting the entire Ziliang demon village, Danny Aluho was opposite. Also installed a new pinhole camera. This time it was not as comprehensive as the Ziliang demon village. After all, time was limited. She only installed some places where the face was easy to be photographed, and then began to wait for Ajani to pass by the mirror's reflection range. As long as someone is seen in the mirror, she can draw people in. Well, it's full. Ajani rubbed her belly. Although she had been saving to eat, she had eaten the buns Qin Yuyao brought to her. By the way, she poured a dozen cups of tap water on the buns. Jua tilde, she smashed her mouth, preparing to put the cup back to its original place. When she got up, she was caught in a mirror. It's now. Danielle instantly activated her ability and pulled Ajani into the world in the mirror. Oh tilde, Ajani suddenly felt weightless. But everything around her didn't change much. So she didn't care much. She put the cup back along the original path. But Danielle tried her best again, planning to hide in the corner of the kitchen, and then waited for Ajani to appear for a group photo. But as she walked over, she suddenly felt a pain in the soles of her feet, as if a needle pierced her special insole and stuck into the soles of her feet. She made an wu tilde mouth shape, but she didn't dare to make a sound. She just wanted to see what had stabbed herself. But she felt dizzy and fell into the hallway with a slap. Sophia Jani's old job as a maid, after she moved in. She cleaned the house and cleaned the dusty villa. When Qin Yuyao saw this, she had never worried about the hygiene problems here. But in fact, Ajani saw that the villa was always clean after that. So she didn't clean it much after all. She has been wandering for so many years. And a little dust is nothing to her, therefore. The nails that Jin Huiyuan scattered on the floor have been kept. This is covered with anesthetics that can numb elephants. Ajani walked back and forth so many times and failed to step on it. But Danielle was not so lucky and won the bid directly. Originally, if her insole were thicker, it wouldn't be pierced. However, a few days ago, a new silent insole was developed. It was thin enough to be similar to socks. Danielle paid a huge price to customize a pair. Wow, Ajani, who was about to return to the living room, was taken aback, not knowing why a person appeared and fell in front of her. I always feel that this scene is very familiar. Hey, hello, are you okay? She pushed Danielle. However, I don't know if it was a coincidence with her push. Danielle just turned over and pressed all the remaining nails under her body. So the question, ISO nail can numb an elephant. How about a dozen nails? Danielle's body twitched instinctively. His eyes began to turn white, and some foam gradually appeared in his mouth. Wow tilde, seeing this scene, Ajani became even more panicked. Help, is there anyone to help her? She wanted to call www. Novel MTL. Com tilde, but the mobile phone Qin Yuyao gave her had no signal at all. There are no satellites in the mirror world. And of course there will be no signals. What to do? What to do? She looked at the door. And now the only way left was to go to Ziliang Demon Village for help. Don't worry, I will definitely find someone to rescue you. Ajani tried to pick up Danielle, but due to the wrong posture, she suddenly lost her balance. Boom. Danielle fell to the floor again. And Ajani was also pressed down. At this moment, the dozen nails were pierced deeper. Danielle's eyes widened suddenly. And the next second she lost consciousness again. But Ajani didn't notice this. She grabbed Danielle's hands and dragged her toward the door. Come on. You must hold on, you will be saved. Jin Huiyuan's poisonous nails were all made in the shape of horse nails. When Ajani dragged Danielle to slide on the floor, some of these nails got stuck on the floor and, la. Blood holes appeared behind Danielle. Danielle convulsed in a coma, and the expression on her face became very distorted, as if she had had a nightmare finally. Ajani dragged Danielle to the hall. She was about to open the door, and suddenly found something strange on the mirror next to the door. This floor-to-ceiling mirror is specially used to take a picture of the person at the door to see if the clothes are properly dressed and the hair is messy. Therefore, the position of the pendulum is also the most conspicuous, and it is difficult to ignore. What makes Ajani feel strange is that it is not herself but Ximen Qing that is reflected in the mirror. Ximen's love at this time was also a little weird. There was a fire on her eyelashes, and flames at the end of her hair continued to appear and dissipated repeatedly. In addition, she also has a handful of bangs that have been spotted with the color of lava, which looks particularly coquettish. How did I become Ximen love? Ajani was not scared. The Ximen love she remembered was like this. What puzzled her was why the person in the mirror was Ximen Qing. Did she learn to transform without knowing it? At this moment, she saw Ximen Qing suddenly took out a piece of paper to paste it on the mirror, and then burned a word on the paper with a very fine fire. Suck the guy next to you out of the mirror, mirror. Ajani tilted her head and couldn't understand. But since Ximen said it, let's try it. She lifted Danielle's leg and tried to stuff it in the mirror. But Ximen Qing suddenly began to write again. Take her off naked and don't bring anything except people. You want to undress? Why? Ajani asked. It is a pity that the voice in the mirror cannot be heard. Otherwise Ximen Qing would not communicate with her by writing. Ximen Qing was originally only searching for Danielle in the Ziliang Demon Village. But when she found a laptop in Qin Yuyao's room, she saw a scene from the opposite villa shown on the computer screen. This time Danielle's equipment is specially customized. Hundreds of cameras can transmit signals to a computer for video editing. Seeing this scene, Ximen Qing suddenly guessed a general idea. This guy is so dead that he went to provoke Ajani. Isn't it good to be alive? Read the K-Siddhigarbha Sutra for her several times in advance. Considering Ajani's natural attributes, if she was allowed to explore the world in the mirror alone, she probably wouldn't be able to get out until the entire world in the mirror was refreshed. At that time Ish will be kicked out, and then the dead fellow will disappear with the world in the mirror. The strength of the 8 evil spirits surpasses Danielle by too much. Even if the world in the mirror is refreshed, it is still unkillable, and will only be squeezed back into the world as a foreign body. Ximen Love still wanted to ask Danielle about some things, but she didn't want her to die like this, so she came to the opposite villa. But things related to her photos must not be kept, so she asked Ajani to take off Danielle's clothes before dragging them out. Just take it off. Ximen Qing changed the character and continued to burn the character. I will take you to eat delicious food later, to be honest. Ximen Qing's stomach was faintly aching when these words were burned. After all, can't hide it, the stand-inba. The 8 evil spirits are really attracted to each other. Really, Ajani was overjoyed. She quickly stripped Danielle from what was said by Simone. Ximen Qing, standing in front of the mirror, was a little relieved after seeing that Danielle was not a big, eagle cute girl. It was okay if only a woman saw it. It would be regarded as a visit to a public bathhouse. What a big deal. Ajani shoved Danielle's naked foot into the mirror. At this time the floor mirror looked like a lake, but the feet passed through with a few ripples. Ximen Qing grabbed her foot on the other side of the mirror and pulled the whole Danielle over. Her movements are not so gentle. There is a small step at the entrance of the villa where the shoes are changed. The shoes are changed below and the floor is on the top. In the process of being dragged out, Danielle's head slammed hard as it passed this section of steps and made a boom sound. Ajani, who was standing by, shook her whole body. Only feeling a little bit of toothache, it should be very painful. Right, I must have a big bag. She tried to touch the mirror, and as expected she was able to pass. So after Danielle went out, she also left the world in the mirror. Only after returning to the real world, Ajani saw Simone breaking Danielle's mouth there. What are you doing? She curiously asked too. Let me see if there are any special props hidden in her body, Ximen said with emotion. She has also watched a lot of special agent movies. And sometimes a memory card can be hidden between her teeth, in order to ensure that her photos did not circulate. She checked inside and out, but fortunately, she didn't find anything similar. It seems that she is thinking too much. Once the evolutionary leaves the world in the mirror for more than an hour, the world will automatically refresh. So she does not have to worry about the world in the mirror at all. And the things in it will be destroyed by itself. Ah. Ajani suddenly yelled, she bleeds a lot. What should I do, Simon love, you can save her. Did you not see it when you just undressed her? Simon said with affection, and with a touch of Danielle's back. All her wounds were burnt and closed. This is what she learned in the movie. There are no conditions on the battlefield. Some soldiers sprinkled gunpowder on the wound and then lit it. The high temperature generated by the instantaneous combustion of gunpowder can both disinfect and seal the wound. Her fire is much stronger than gunpowder fire. And this degree of disinfection is naturally easy. Things from the real world can be brought into the mirror world. But not the other way around. www. Novel MTL. That is to say. The nails on Danielle and the anesthetic on the nails were stripped off at the same time she came out. As a matter of principle, she should wake up soon. It's weird, are you pretending to be dead? Simon Ching's eyes flashed with fire, or maybe it's burned. Ajani hurriedly stopped her when she saw this. Wait. Why are you killing her? This guy actually tried to take a picture of my snails. There is no forgiveness. Simon Ching raised her head and said solemnly. Ajani felt a little strange from the beginning. And now she is more convinced of her instincts when she says this. Simon Ching. Are you drunk? Bakyu's nose is very smart. But Ajani is a little bit dumbeven if she smells it. She doesn't care much. She didn't realize it until she found something was wrong. Drunk? I'm not drunk, am I so bad? Simon King denied. But the scent of alcohol in her mouth turned towards Ajani, who was sniffing closer. Hey, you really are drunk. Ajani pinched her nose and stepped back. Simon said uncomfortably, I said I was not drunk. Otherwise you seek in a drunk man do such a precise control. As she said, stretched out a hand. And a flame burst out from the palm of her hand. The flame condensed into a human form. And then began to dance. What break dancing, too horrible ballet Latin dance. In a different way it can even backflip, oh at %%. Ajani subconsciously said a paragraph in her mother tongue. Which probably means awesome or Maggie Bakunai. However, after she finished speaking, the flame villain stepped on the air and fell from Simon Ching's hand. After all, she is not a Tathagata Buddha. And her hands are not Wajishin. Such a little flame man turned a few somersaults and left. The flame villain fell straight, just on Danielle's body. Suddenly a raging flame burned on her body. Ah! The pain of burning body was not something ordinary people could bear. And Danielle jumped directly from the ground. Simon King, who stayed for a while, quickly took the fire back. But Danielle's body had already faintly exuded a scorched fragrance. She curled up on the floor and trembled. Her eyes filled with confusion. Where am I? Why is it like this? It hurts. Why does it hurt so much? Simon King quickly looked at Ajani. You are poisonous. Why did you become like this once you finished talking? Ajani looked innocent. Weird, blame me. It's obviously that Simon Ching didn't control the flame by herself. Why can this be blamed on her? Simon Ching was really drunk, so unreasonable. What can I do? Ajani looked at Danielle, who was still dark on the ground, her hair, eyebrows. All the hair on her body had been burned. And even a large area of her body was burned. The fire of Simon's love is no ordinary fire. Even if it's just a little bit, the power is terrifying. It would be a little pitiful if a girl was so disfigured. Simon said in love, don't worry, I have a way, as she said. She squatted down and said to Danielle, hey girl. Do you want to heal the injury on your body? I think you are like this. If you don't get treatment in time, you might have to go for a full-body cosmetic surgery. At that time, the skin of the whole body was replaced with other people's skin. And it was still wrinkled. Danielle nodded quickly. As a girl, it's natural to love beauty. So she definitely doesn't want to be like what Simon Love said. So good, you answer a few questions first. Don't think about lying. I have a way to distinguish you from lying, Simon Ching said. You should understand the consequences of angering a bastard. Right? Danielle nodded quickly, again, of course she knew it. But the consequences were already serious now. What she likes is death, not death. She must seize the opportunity to survive. So Simon King asked, who are you from Sancheng Yi? Yes. It's my great-grandmother, Danielle said weakly. At the same time I was surprised. Why did the master of Tsing Yi know the name of his great-grandmother? Simon Ching said again, are you from the United States? Yes, your great-grandfather is also American, yes. When asked about this, Simon sighed emotionally, that guy. He really married a US guy. Sancheng Yi is the person in the mirror world that Simon Ching met 100 years ago. She is an islander who has always longed for American culture and dreamed of marrying a white American. Time has passed and it seems that her dream has come true. Is she okay? Simon Ching asked. Great-grandmother passed away 10 years ago. Danielle said. Their abilities don't have the effect of longevity. At best they have better physical fitness. And it's pretty good to live in their early 100s. Oh, I actually died. Simon Ching is now in a slightly drunken state. And his mind is a little awkward in her impression. Sancheng Yi was just a teenage girl. But she didn't expect that she would be old when she woke up. So sometimes there is a price to be paid for living a long time. Then the topic returns to you, what are you doing here? Why do you want to take pictures of my snails? Danielle hurriedly said, I didn't want to do that. And I don't know if you will wear no clothes. She then told Simon about the rewards offered by the Extreme Ronin Club. So, you are so troublesome just to take a photo with Zio Rao. Simon Ching looked at her with doubts about IQ. So why don't you pretend to be her fans and ask for a group photo? That won't be exciting, Danielle said. The essence of our Extreme Ronin lies in the word wave. You can't test back and forth on the edge of life and death. What's the difference with salted fish? Simon Ching rolled her eyes, according to you. You are almost burned to death by me now. But you haven't died yet, wouldn't it be cool? To tell the truth, it's kind of cool, Danielle said shyly. Damn, you're crazy, Simon is speechless. I'm afraid this guy isn't a trembling M. He's almost scorched, so he still feels good. Simon loves at this moment. Ajani suddenly said to the side. When shall we go to eat delicious food? She was mainly afraid that Simon Ching promised to take her to eat when she was drunk. Aren't you just getting full? Simon Ching asked. It's okay. I can save the food first and use it to offset hunger when I need it. Are you a bear? How can you still hibernate? Simon spit out www, novel MTL. Tilda Ajani said in a serious manner, this is a stunt that I have exercised by wandering for many years. After all, I can't eat it every time full. How come I can't sympathize with you when I hear you talk about such a sad thing? Simon said with affection, okay. You put on your clothes and shoes and we go out. She is now in a broken state. As long as Ajani doesn't deliberately target her. The ability that accidentally leaks can't make her unlucky. Just like Chin Yuya at the same time. She also gave Danielle a windbreaker plus mask plus sunglasses suit. She intends to take Danielle to solve the problem of burns all over her body. And at the same time, Simon Ching is also very interested in the 3 billion meter knife. The ratio of rice knives to soft sister coins is about 5:1. And 3 billion rice knives are 15 billion soft sister coins. Not only can this fill in the big holes Chin Yuya made, but there are many more left. And she will really be able to drink blood packs to her heart's content in the future. At that time I want to pour a cup of ABABO type. And then plug in 4 straws to together. And also asterisk around the charter wife. And dance around her while sucking. After Song Yunu asterisk Simon Ching. He took Xiaoguai and Jin Huyuan out. Xiaoguai and Jin Huyuan want to buy some new musical instruments and computer accessories. And she is going to buy groceries, no way. There is a guy at home who likes to look through the refrigerator in the middle of the night. And things are not on display soon in the past. Simon Ching only took red things like tomatoes. But recently she didn't know where she got Lao Gan Ma. If something is coated with Lao Gan Ma, it will turn into red oil, disaster. Next time you should study a kind of password symbol on the refrigerator. If you don't enter the password, you won't be able to open the door, Song Yunwoo muttered. Jin Hyun on the side shuddered when she heard her talking to herself. She has been particularly overshadowed by the word electricity recently. Even playing the guitar dare not plug it in, what's more. She actually took part in the matter of turning the refrigerator in the middle of the night. The three of them were waiting for the bus to go to the vegetable market, when suddenly a car stopped in front of them. There happened to be two men in the bus stop. When they saw the car, they immediately started talking in a low voice. Damn. I'm not mistaken, is this box 62's, tusk take a photo. Tens of millions of luxury cars. How come the bus stop is here? Wait. This license plate won't belong to Father Songrite. I remember it seems to be this number, really. Check it online, seeing this car. Song Yunwoo's expression changed. And then he took a step forward at the same time. The windows of the back seat of the car slowly lowered. And a middle-aged man with a majestic face appeared in front of them. Dad, Song Yunwoo said. This middle-aged man is Song Yunwoo's father, Song Hanlin. He has been the richest man in the country for 3 consecutive years on a certain ranking list. He has a lot of fame on the internet. And many people call him Dad Song. Get in the car, Song Hanlin glanced at the two children. They should be together too, no need. Song Yunwoo shook his head. And then said to Jin Hyun and Zyeogui. You should go shopping by yourself first. And I will call you when the time comes. Oh. Zyeogui nodded. Then waved to Song Hanlin with Jin Hyun and left. If you want to buy food you have to take the bus. But you have to go to the computer city to buy computer accessories. It is faster to take the subway. Song Yunwoo got into the car and sat beside Song Hanlin in the back seat. The two men at the bus station took the opportunity to take a lot of pictures. Who is that woman just now? Does she have anything to do with Father Song? Wow, how do you feel that we have made a big news? Yes, this photo can be sold to news and magazines. It must be valuable. The two of them were thinking about making money. And they didn't realize that the screen of their mobile phone was black. In the box 62S, the driver holds the steering wheel in one hand, and the other hand holds a piece of talisman paper that is about to burn out. There are still some electric lights on the talisman paper. This is the simplest talisman for thunder. The tiny electric current summoned can easily destroy digital products such as mobile phones and video cameras. It's not easy for people to buy a mobile phone. Song Yunwoo said, Don't worry, Aunt. The driver smiled. I will give them a new mobile phone each. What if someone has important documents in their cell phone? What if there is a full moon photo of a newborn child? A lot of money has been spent on Song Yunwoo went straight for 3 consecutive years, leaving the driver speechless. Fortunately, Song Hanlin said in time, Okay. Zyeojin just came to me as a driver. It is inevitable that some places are not in place. So don't embarrass him, I'll just talk about it casually. Song Yunwoo shrugged. Don't take it seriously, few. The driver chuckled dryly. The Song family is very large. Although the driver Song Jin is only 3 years younger than Song Yunwoo, his seniority is a generation lower. It was Song Yunwoo's cousin's son, so he called her aunt or cousin. Speaking of which, Song Hanlin suddenly turned. What's the matter with the small video you bought from WeChat? What have you been exposed to all these years? Song Yunwoo was also taken aback. She herself didn't expect that she would say small video so naturally. It must have been with that idiot zombie for a long time and was infected. I'll just say it casually, don't think about it so much. Just talk about business. Are you free to come to me? Song Hanlin always kept his face straight and said, I'm here for your brother's business. The message you sent back is. Sophia Jani entangled him. Song Yunwoo's face turned dark. Is it really for his younger brother? I have already said that he rescued Sophia Jani once at sea, and then confirmed the relationship without knowing her true identity. It was too late by the time I knew it. What were you doing back then? I am drunk. You are actually drunk. Every word of Song Hanlin seemed to question Song Yunwoo. Why did you go drinking and get drunk when something so important happened to your brother? What about your responsibility as a sister? Song Yunwoo felt very uncomfortable. But she was too lazy to argue. Sophia Janney lives across from my house. She is a good talker if you explain clearly to her. She shouldn't hold on to Yoonj put it. 8 evildoers are easy to talk. Your joke is not funny at all, Song Hanlin said, forget it. You still don't have to worry about this, come home with me. I will ask the Jeong family to take care of your brother's affairs. My home is here and I'm not going anywhere. Song Yunwoo said, directly forming a seal with both hands. With a bang, her body suddenly turned into a piece of talisman paper, burning while falling in the air. The talisman burned quickly, and it burned out before it hit the ground at the same time. Song Yunwoo appeared on the top of a building. She sat down with her knees in her arms, letting the strong wind blow. Just staring at the city below in a daze, on Box 62S. Song Hanlin watched his daughter disappear in front of him in surprise. Why use a substitute if you don't agree? I haven't finished speaking yet. Why am I not happy when I care about her? Oh, you reading www.ukanshu.com. This daughter is really more and more rebellious when she grows up. Master Sanju. I feel that you can speak more clearly next time. Song Jin can be a driver and naturally has some talent in observing words and colors. Song Hanlin just asked Song Yunwoo why he was drinking and not accusing her, but simply caring about why his daughter was drunk. To take her home is also worried about her safety. It's just that this invincible boss in the mall is always very nervous when talking to his daughter. The intuitive expression is that he looks very unhappy with his straight face. With such an expression and such words, it will naturally make people feel that he is blaming instead of caring. Is it true that as long as you get a photo with Ru Yao, you can have 3 billion? Xiamen Qing confirmed to Danielle again, yes. As long as you are the first person to post the photo to Twitter, you can get the 3 billion. Danielle said weakly, lying on Xiamen Qing's back, okay. Let's make a deal, Xiamen Qing said, I will help you get a photo. And then how about you use the 3 billion for your own life and the cure of body burns? Okay, Danielle agreed without thinking. She didn't dare not to agree when she thinks about it. If Tsingya teaches mainly want to make money, she can easily get a lot of money by blackmailing a country. And there is no need to look at the 3 billion. So I must just want to give her a small punishment. But having said that, she is burned so badly. How can Master Tsingya rescue her? Is it looking for a special evolver, for example? The evolutionary with future medical technology? Or the evolutionary of mythology related to treatment? No matter which one it is very rare even if you have money. You may not be able to find it. So now she can be regarded as pinning her hopes on Xiamen Qing. The slightly drunken Xiamen Qing took out his mobile phone and made a call. The other party answered almost in seconds. And the beep was connected as soon as the beep sounded. Hello, the leader. Hey, Qianshenyu, come to me. There are some things for you to deal with. The address is XXXX. Xiamen Qing hung up the phone. And Ajani asked her curiously, who are you calling? Police. Danilton was startled when she heard these 2 words. Why call the police, didn't you say to heal her? Is it a lie to her in fact? Which official laboratory is she going to take her to for brainwashing? Danielle had a clear understanding of the preciousness of her abilities. And her father repeatedly warned her not to let outsiders know about it. Once exposed, it will inevitably be coveted. Now it seems that Xiamen Love is about to turn her over to the country. No, I don't want to be brainwashed. Danielle shivered, but there was nothing to do. She is now covered in bruises. And she is still carried on her back by the leader of Tsingyi. Although she was in a desperate situation but don't know why. Danielle faintly felt a little expectant. What will be waiting for her next? Electric drill. Electric shock slice, everything is exciting. After about 20 minutes, a police car stopped in front of them with a very beautiful tail. Looking at this speed, I was afraid that it was not coming through the red light all the way. Master, I'm here, what's your order? Sen Qianshan quickly jumped out of the car and ran to Xiamen Qing and said respectfully. Xiamen Qing handed Danielle on his back to him, come on. Take a bite, what? Sen Qianshan and Danielle both looked dumbfounded. Danielle was surprised to be able to do something here. and that what he had previously thought was wrong. And it turned out to be a bite. What kind of ghost punishment is this? Sen Kainshin didn't expect Simon Ching to make him bite. If a zombie bites a person, there are only two possibilities. One is to blood and the other is to contagion. Calling him so far away is always not for him to add food. Right, so, master, did you let me turn her into a zombie? Yeah, Simon King nodded. I just accidentally burned her. It's quite serious. I think if she becomes a zombie, she can recover from this injury with a little blood. It's better than having her whole body skin grafted. The operation came well, that's it. Sen Kainshin nodded. I understand, master. But is it really appropriate for me to bite? I'm a man. Oh. And this horse matter, Simon, who was slightly drunk, could easily miss something when thinking about things. This has nothing to do with zombies. It is a very common sense question. Bite a bite on the body is a very intimate action. Asking an uncle like Sen Kainshin to bite a girl who meets for the first time always feels that the style of painting is not right. Is there any female congregation nearby? Simon Ching asked. Having said that, she suddenly remembered Wu Maith Nanny of Li Yuki's family. She was a female zombie. But this is a member whom Simon Love doesn't know. And he doesn't know who developed the blood. Yes, Sen Kainshin nodded. I will call her right away. As he said, he immediately made a call and went out. Come on, XXXX. The leader has something to look for you. After hanging up the phone, said to Simon again, Master. That guy is nearby and will be there in 5 minutes. Well, I sensed it. Simon King, who controls all her powers, has a clear perception of her blood. She discovered that there are dozens of zombies in the entire Xiaokong city. No matter who bit it, as long as it becomes a zombie, it is all her blood. All the zombies in the world are her subordinates, and will automatically be classified as members of Tsingyi sect, as long as they are close to a certain reign. Simon Ching can perceive a command and even destroy them. Am I going to become a zombie? Danielle was still a little confused. It turned out that this was the cure method that the leader of Tsingyi said. If you think about it, she is the ancestor of zombies. Isn't this a natural way? But zombies. I heard that zombies are very physical. And they are not easy to die in this case. Isn't it possible to challenge more projects that could not be challenged before? When she thought of this, Danielle's heart was suddenly full of expectations. That's awesome, I'm going to become a zombie. Simon Ching, who didn't know what she was thinking at all, was taking advantage of this gap to talk to Sen Kainshin. Do you know Ultimate Ronin? Have you heard? It seems to be composed of a group of stupid short-rich second generation Sui. Did they provoke you to the leader? Hey, isn't that right? Simon Ching pointed to Danny LWWW, novel MTL. Tilde now there are many members of the Extreme Ronin lurking in Xiaokong City. Can you find them out? Of course, Sen Kainshin said. As long as the leader is alive, I will do my best. It's alright, don't talk about your old ways. Simon Ching directly interrupted Sen Kainshin's fixed lines. Anyway, you should find a way to find those guys. And then you can catch them or drive them away. Don't you need to kill? It depends on the situation. Those who are too bad in nature can be killed, Simon Ching said. Oh, yes, try not to use the power of the Tsingyi sect. The Jiang Taidu seems to have been looking for you. And I won't let him find it, understand? Sen Kainshin said. He is a policeman. And he can use official power to fix those guys. There is no need to expose the Tsingyi teachers. The leader told us to hide it well. Surely it is to take this whole country one day, right? This must be done well, don't let the leader down. Simon Ching talked with Sen Kainshin for a while. And a bright white car drove over. Simon Ching doesn't know the license plate, so I can't recognize the model. It doesn't seem to be expensive anyway. The car stopped. But the door did not open. Only the rear window was slowly lowered. Then a white shadow jumped out from it and went straight to Simon's Love. The speed of the white shadow was too fast, almost indistinguishable to the naked eye. But Simon Ching caught it in his hands with a quick grab. It turned out to be you. She looked at the white Persian cat in her hand somewhat unexpectedly, who followed her arm to her chest and lay on her stomach. Master, I miss you so much. The Persian cat curled up on the cushion of Simon Ching and rubbed her head affectionately on her chin. Simon Ching smoothly scratched his stomach, which made the Persian cat squinted in comfort. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Simon Ching squeezed one foot of the Persian cat, kneading the pad on it to his heart's content. The evolutionary is not limited to humans, so is this cat. It was once regarded as a big monster in ancient times, but was later subdued by Simon Ching and transformed into a zombie. After teasing the cat for a while, Simon Ching took it off his chest, held it to Danielle's neck, who was leaning on a Janny. Come on, dig, take a bite. The Persian cat rolled his eyes. Master, I still love your meow if you don't mention this name. This name was forcibly given to it by someone back then. It is the biggest cat taint. Basically, whoever dares to mention it will bite on it madly. But Simon Ching was the only person it dared not bite, so it could only protest aggrievedly. Why does this name sound bad? The slightly drunken Simon love brain circuit also became strange. And suddenly he looked sad and honest. I thought you liked it very much, dog, you changed. Don't, master, don't cry. The Persian cat quickly said, you can call me a dog. Call me anything, call hard meow. Simon Ching changed her face almost in seconds, and smiled and handed the Persian cat to Danielle's neck. Good dog. Bite her, dog. In fact, it can be infected anywhere you bite. But there are large arteries in the neck, and it will become a zombie faster. The dog opened his mouth, and the little tiger's teeth clicked on Danielle's neck. A black breath flowed into Danielle's blood vessels along its teeth, and the blood flow was accelerated within 10 seconds. Her whole body was eroded by the black breath. At the same time, a crimson aura emerged from Simon Ching and entered Danielle's body, completely transforming her into a zombie. The scars on Danielle's skin began to fall off, revealing new skin that was as tender as a boiled egg. This is the benefit of being transformed into a zombie. Many injuries will be eliminated as the physique changes. Simon Ching recovered the flames in time, so her body was just ordinary burns, without the will of the 8 evil spirits, and she was easily healed. Danielle only felt itchy, so he touched his face casually, and a large area of dead skin was torn off, revealing a baby-like face. I have become a zombie. She was in a daze, and things came so fast that she was over without getting ready. I won't die now even if I get stabbed by a knife. Danielle suddenly had a strong urge to find a knife to cut her belly. Suddenly a wave of weakness swept through her body, and she fell to the ground with a cry of "Ah, Tilda, this is... What's wrong?" After falling to the ground, she suddenly recovered her strength, which made Danielle look bewildered. Simon said in love, you have just converted, and you are still the lowest level zombie. You will be afraid of the sunblack dog blood mahogany sword, glutinous receipt, and you will get better when you are higher. Danielle had just pulled off his mask and his face was shining in the sun. Then it happened to be a shadow where I fell, so my strength recovered. How to improve that level? Danielle asked. It will automatically transform. Simon Ching said, you are originally an evolutionary. After you become a zombie, your level will quickly rise to your original ability level. This process will be completed within a week, and you only have to improve every day. It's been exposed to the moonlight at night, but it's not very efficient if you have a high level. You can't get to the first level even after 1,000 years of exposure. The evolutionary level is fixed and it is very, very rare to be able to upgrade, and zombies are one of them. However, not all zombies can be upgraded. It must be recognized by Simon Ching and distinguished by the red aura. Such zombies belong to the elite level among all zombies, and the number is not that many. Longevity, slowing down of aging, super powerful recovery, strong physical stamina, infection, and a small probability of gaining abilities. On this basis it can be upgraded, which is simply a bug. It can be said that with this group of dependents alone, Simon's love is enough to reach the level of harm of the 8 evils. Not to mention that the zombies are just a kind of subsidiary gods of her own. Danielle nodded. I see the leader. Well, Simon said, so you will be careful in the future. Try not to let yourself touch Thessie. What are you doing? When she was just talking, Danielle suddenly reached out to the sun and rolled up her sleeves. As a result, as soon as the sun shone, She immediately got out of her body and fell to the ground with a breath of ah tilde. As soon as she fell, her hands were out of the range of sunlight, and her strength quickly recovered. Then she stood up again and stretched out her hand again. Breathless fall, get up, reach out, breathe again. Fall again, this cycle has formed perpetual motion. Bah. Ximen Qing looked at her like a neurosis. Did I just burn your brain? No, the leader Danielle said. I just feel a force urging me to rush out of the shadows and accept the embrace of Mother Sun. Although I know I can't get some sun, but I just can't help it. Ah tilde www novel mtl. Calm tilde Ximen King covered her face. This guy is not saved. Why did I think about turning her into a zombie? At this moment, Ajani pulled her sleeves aside. Hey. Ximen King, when shall we go to eat? Ah. Oh, eat, yes, let's go now. Ximen Qing doesn't want to care about Danielle anymore. It's better to never show up in front of her for this neurosis. As she sedged through the dog into Sen Kaienshin's arms, okay. We are going to eat. And we will leave the affairs of extreme Ronin to you. Master, don't you take me with me. Persian cats and dogs immediately shouted. Ximen Qing pointed to Ajani beside her and said, Are you sure you want to stay with us? Sen Kaienshin and Guzi looked at her face carefully as if they had only discovered Ajani now. And then each person and cat showed horror expressions at the same time. Fuck. Sen Kaienshin has some soft feet. And the dog also has an urge to run away. But they didn't move and bit the bullet and said, Teach. The leader, we will be by your side, okay. I know you're loyal. Ximen King waved his hand and made a drive. I'll go to have a meal and you don't need to follow it, let's go. Let's go, yes. After receiving instructions from Ximen Qing, Sen Kaienshin and Guzi couldn't wait to get back into the car and escaped as quickly as possible. Are they in a hurry? Ajani questioned, completely unconscious. Ximen Qing looked at her and thought that although the brain of every 8 evil spirits would be impacted during the ritual when they became the 8 evil spirits, at most their personalities have become weird. And it is rare for them to truly reach the level of brain disability. Ajani is most likely the more serious one, so that everyone behaves so obviously. She still doesn't notice the reality that she is terrifying. It's Aki, don't worry about them. Let's eat something delicious. Ximen Qing looked at Danielle who was still dying, and sighed, although I don't really want to take her with me. Considering the 3 billion shareslits bear it. Stop making a fuss, put on your clothes and come with me. Ximen King gave an order. Although Danielle wanted to continue, he obediently rolled down his sleeves and put on a mask, and followed Ximen King. All zombies are actually extensions of Simon's ability. She can control the actions of zombies to a certain extent. The higher the level of the zombie, the weaker the effect of this ability. The newly transformed zombies like Danielle are the best to control. Basically, Ximen Qing asked her to do what she would do. They first got on a rental car and went to the nearest Golden Arch. Since the last time Qin Yuyo invited Ajani to eat, she has been obsessed with these junk foods. And Ximen Qing doesn't bother to want to eat. And it is the most convenient place to go to Golden Arch. While in the taxi, Ximen Qing called Qin Yuyo, but there was no signal. There is still no signal in Xiakong City. Isn't she also drawn into the world in the mirror? Ximen Qing asked Danielle, Hey, is there anyone who has the same ability as you? How is it possible? Danielle shook his head. I am the only one in our department that has awakened this ability. What's going on? Ximen King frowned. At the same time, the elevator doors were opened. Qin Yuyo and Sadie walked out together. Mr. Sadie, didn't you say you want to discuss business? Why are you still following me? Qin Yuyo sighed. Originalish only ran into Sadie at the subway station. And then the two chatted casually. Who would have thought that Sadie would follow her all the way from the subway station to the place where she took pictures? Although he said that he was here to discuss business, Qin Yuyo was not stupid. How could anyone who just fell from the sky and smashed the ground into a hole, then got up and patted the soil to discuss business as if there was nothing wrong with him? This guy was clearly following her. It's not right to say that she is in love with her. From the beginning, Qin Yuyo never let him see the face, and always felt that he had other purposes. Qin Yuyo didn't care much about Thissaniwa. No matter what Sadie had planned. It would not be her who was dangerous, Sadie said. Ah. What a coincidence. I just came to see if I can buy this photography company. Chin Yuyao, hee hee, you rich people really know how to play. Sadie smiled at this. Of course he wasn't here to discuss business. He just had an idea. He felt that since he had been targeted by the police, he would definitely be arrested if he followed the original path. That simply did the opposite and got on the opposite subway. The reason why I have been following Chin Yuyao is because I discovered that she is also an evolutionary. And she can easily learn her identity from the police. Maybe there will be some special means to help him. Then I'm going to take pictures, you can find their boss. Chin Yuyao saw Hiromi Renchi and said to Sadie and walked over. Okay, pick the cocoon, Sadie kept the gentleman's smile. Of course he won't go to the boss. Next he will study a new plan, as far as he knows. There are more than one club members who have entered Xiaokong City like him. Among them is the most mysterious Danielle Quinn who, as the name suggests, exists in the club like Queen. You must get a photo with the 8 evil spirits before her. Ms. Wangshu, is that your friend outside? Asked Nida Hiromi while taking the coat Chin Yuyao took off. Chin Yuyao shook her head. The one I met on the road was a local tyrant in Dubai. He said he was here to invest or something. It's really fake, isn't it a lie? Nida Yume wrinkled her brows, revealing a detective's eyes. Recently, many whites and black people like to come to Hua country. Because even if you're hanging silk abroad, you will still be very popular in Hua country. Those girls who want houses and cars don't need anything when they meet black and white people. She herself was accosted many times by whites and blacks. Probably not, Chin Yuyao thought for a while. Tao Siki wouldn't lie to herself, forget it. It doesn't matter to us anyway. What are you going to shoot today? Today is a military theme, said Nida Hiromi. We have already made the military uniforms designed by the dance teacher in Attack on Giant. We originally wanted to invite the dance teacher and the others to shoot. But the love teacher say you are more suitable. Upon hearing this, Chin Yuyao knew that she was in love with Simon again. What she heard was clearly about the subject of the second part of JoJo. But forget it, what's not to shoot anyway? It's the same for her own comics or Giant promotion www. Novel MTL, after all. Simon Ching now bears the tens of billions of debts with her. Chin Yuyao felt a little strange when he mentioned the more than 10 billion. She really didn't have any idea about so much money. She felt that after more than 100 million, a few more would make no difference. Anyway, it's unclear. Just as Nida Hiromi folded her jacket, she realized that she didn't take out the mobile phone in her pocket. She looked up and wanted to talk to Chin Yuyao. And it happened that Zhou Hong came over at this time. Ms. Wangshu, you are here, have you brought the new manuscript? Oh, here it is. Chin Yuyao took the draft of the third part of JoJo smoothly. I heard that the protagonist this time is a student. Zhou Hong said casually, already opening the file bag with his hand. As a result, he pulled out the sketches. And he saw the strong fish seller on the first page. There was only one thought left in his mind. Is this a student? You tell me that this is the underworld. I think it's more reliable. Zhou Hong probably took a look. JoJo is still the same. Jaj Oth taste has not changed. The hardline muscle style is still sour and refreshing as always. But as soon as the game started, the third generation JoJo showed extraordinary abilities. Ghost stand-in, what is this? Is it a new setting? He wanted to ask Chin Yuyao, but she had already changed her clothes, so she had to keep watching. As soon as Senko Sarajo Jitaro appeared in prison, he was a close-up of the good son in his mother's memory at first. But after turning the page, it was suddenly a close-up in the style of a young and dangerous boy. If this is for readers to see, I would be surprised. Zhou Hong said while watching. After that, there was a story about San Kaio just awakening as a substitute. And Kaio also appeared. There is a protagonist from the previous movie. Zhou Hong nodded. It seems that a wave of sentiments can be sold. Although the second movie has just ended. Next, Magic Red made a stunning debut and briefly fought with Platinum Star. Dior was mentioned later. This was a bit of surprise to Zhou Hong. He didn't expect that the first Dior that had already been resolved would appear again. He has seen reader surveys, and Dior is actually quite popular among fans. If he can have a role, I believe it should be very good. Seeing this, Jo Hong has basically determined that this third part will definitely be popular. Next, it depends on how he does marketing well, Jo Hong, who originally thought there was still content, turned it over, but found that half of the drawing was from another comic. Pokémon. He looked at this cute style of painting that was completely different from that of JoJo, and almost thought that Qin Yuyao had taken the wrong drawing. But looking at the signature is indeed Wang Shu. Is this the new cartoon that Qin Yuyao is preparing to double open? What does she think? Obviously JoJo is already so hot. Jo Hong didn't want to understand, but he read it anyway. The plot of Pokémon is much simpler. Obvious routines, but this is not the point. The point is that the Pokémon in it is very cute. Some comics rely on the plot like JoJo, and some comics can also rely on characters instead of the plot. The Pokémon in front of me is obviously sold by people. To be precise, Jo Hong couldn't believe that the two completely opposite works were produced by the same person. Could it be someone else's ghostwriter? He suddenly thought of Working Cell, which is also a very cute work. But Wooking Teacher is still drawing giants. Will he have time to paint this? What's more, even if it is drawn, there is no need to sign Qin Yuyao. After much deliberation, it can only be attributed to Qin Yuyao's painting skills really strong for the time being. Jo Hong planned to ask Qin Yuyao after she came out. But after a while, Qin Yuyao did not come out of the locker room. So he let Nita Hiromi go in and have a look. Nita Hiromi knocked on the door first, and found that no one answered. So she moved to the stool and stood on it to check. As a result, she found that there was no one in the locker room. This scene shocked her. She obviously watched Qin Yuyao go in with her own eyes, and no one had ever come out from the beginning to the end. And the door was still locked now. So how do you say that such a big living person is gone? The islanders are still very superstitious. Hiromi Nita thought of haunting at the first time, and she was so scared that she fell directly off the stool. Fortunately, Jo Hong was behind and caught her in time. Then he kicked open the locker room door. It was indeed empty inside. Only a bag containing Qin Yuyao's clothes proved that she had indeed come. What about people? Jo Hong frowned. Where did Qin Yuyao go? She herself is not clear about this question. She had just changed her clothes in the locker room. But when she opened the door and went out, she saw no one. Not only Nita Hiromi and others, but even the staff who had been setting the scene nearby were gone. Qin Yuyao listened carefully and found that there was only one breathing sound in the entire building except her. I rushed over and found that it was Sadie at this time. Sadie's face was pale as if he had just fallen from the chair. There is a notebook on the side table. Maybe he was online just now. Do you know what happened? Qin Yuyao asked. Sadie was a little lost. Didn't even look at her, just tremblingly said, "It's over." We're all over. What's over? Qin Yuyao wondered what the asterisk is going on. Why are everyone around you gone? It's not that the people around us have disappeared, but that we were drawn into a special space. Zymanking explained to Danielle in the Golden Arches store. It's similar to the world in your mirror. Danielle looked out the window, and when he found a giant golden swastika in the sky outside, he immediately understood something. This is that person. That's right, Zymanching nodded. Janny on the side also nodded. That's the guy. Danielle was very scared at first, but when he saw the two big guys around him who were still eating chicken calmly, he suddenly felt less nervous, perhaps taking this opportunity to experience a wave of battles between the 8 evil spirits. I feel too high just thinking about it. She was already convinced that this suddenly appeared space should belong to a masterpiece of a certain 8 evil spirits. To be precise, it is the one from Mao Ziguo. The name of this space is Buddha Kingdom in the Palm, which is similar to the palm of the hand that trapped Monkey King in the legend. However, the person from Mao Ziguo who manifested was not the Tathagata in Journey to the West, but Sakyamuni. Tathagata does not specifically refer to a certain Buddha. Hey, he's the one who can do things the most, if you can. I really don't want to meet her. Simon King bit the chicken roll and said lazily. Jiang Taidu is really a waste, can't even stop him. Ajani said, will someone stop me? OWWW novel MTL. Tilda, are you talking about Mr. Puncture? Simon Ching also thought of this. Because of the unknown national treasure. The 8 evil spirits of the United States have been arguing with Jiang Jianhong. And he can't get out of him. So much so that Ajani didn't find Jiang Jianhong when she entered the country. Or she was unable to stop her when she found it. Since Ajani can come in, so can the one from Mao Ziguo. What does this guy mean actually? He directly covered the entire Xiaokong city with the Buddha kingdom in his palm. Teacher, what should we do next? Danielle asked with a hint of expectation. Simon Ching pointed to the things on the table and said, what else can I do? I bought it with Munyat, it quickly, it's shameful to waste. You know, forget that you are a rich second generation. But rich second generations can't waste food either. Danielle looked dumbfounded. At this time, can he continue to eat calmly? After eating for a while, Simon King and Ajani couldn't eat anymore. It's not that it's full or unpalatable, it's just nothing to eat. When pulling people in the palm of the Buddha country, only a small part of things that are close to the human body will be pulled in, such as clothes or fried chicken in the hand. But the ones on the table won't work. Although the Buddha in the palm of the country will project exactly the same chicken legs. They are tasteless and they will not be full after eating. It's really troublesome, go find that guy. Simon Ching is still thinking about looking for Qin Yuyao to take pictures. If she's been trapped here it won't work. So she took Ajani and Danielle and left the Golden Arch. When going out, Ajani looked back at the Golden Arch with a little bit of reluctance. I haven't eaten enough yet. I really want to eat more. Simon said in love, the only way to eat is to let the guy let us out. Otherwise in this place where there are no hairs. Do you still expect pie in the sky? As soon as the voice fell, a loud bang came from above. The top of the building they had just walked out seemed to have been hit by a cannon. A huge fragment of the wall fell from the sky and happened to hit Danielle, who could not be avoided, for a while blood was splashing. And Danielle's head flew out directly, amazingly. Simon Ching and Danielle, who were standing just 2 meters away, had nothing to do with them. And none of the splattered rubble fell on them. Puff. A paper bag fell from the sky, just in the hands of Ajani. She opened it and said in surprise, ah, a pie. Simon love. She walked silently to Danielle's head and dialed with her foot, hey. Are you dead? I think, okay. Danielle, with only one head left, said weakly. She was already a zombie, although she was the lowest level. She could no longer be killed by such a simple physical shock. If the remaining head shines in the moonlight for a while every night, she will be able to grow back in about a year. If you can asterisk blood, this time will be shortened to a month or even a week. However, there is another special case. Simon King grabbed her hair and lifted her up. A crimson breath penetrated into her head. And then the lower part of her neck began to grow at a speed visible to the naked eye. In just 1 second, Danielle lost all of his body was restored. Zombies can be resurrected without a CD full by Simon Ching's side. But the clothes couldn't help. Simon King borrowed a coat for her and asked her to cover her upper body temporarily. The down jackets are very long. As long as the steps are not too large. The bottom is invisible, why didn't you hide just now? Simon Ching asked her, just when the huge cement block fell. She had enough time to react and burn it to fly ash. But she felt that Danielle should also be able to avoid it. So she didn't make a move. At first I was going to hide. Danielle scratched his head and said. But I suddenly remembered that I was a zombie. So I wondered if I would die if I was hit like this thought. This thought was out of control and controlled my body. And then I didn't hide, damn. Simon King directly gave her a middle finger. Next time you don't expect me to borrow your clothes. Just wait for Luo Ben. Danielle shook his head quickly, no, no, no. After a while she said again, but what happened just now? Why did the roof suddenly explode? Simon said in love, did you not see? Someone flew over and hit the roof, yes. Look in the past and you'll know. Zyman Ching and Ajani returned to the place where the pieces of the building were smashed on the ground, while Ajani was still standing in a pile of dust, biting the pie beautifully. This is dried vegetable meat, not a replica of the Buddha country in the palm of the hand. It tastes very good. Zyman ignored her and walked over to look through the pieces of cement. Danielle followed and exclaimed, "Wow, is this blood mine? Huh, this is my left hand. Oh, that's my pelvis. Oh, this is not my knee." Zyman Ching couldn't bear it anymore, and simply waved his hand, and a ball of flame appeared out of thin air. All the building fragments, Danielle's limbs and blood were all burned. Danielle was taken aback by this scene, and hurriedly covered his mouth and dared not speak any more. Ajani on the side was still eating pie. There was only a large pit left on the ground, and nothing else. Danielle just wondered if the person who flew over was burnt to ashes, and saw a pair of flame wings appearing behind Simon Love. Zyman's love soared into the sky, turning into a red line to reach the sky. Sure enough, as she expected, a guy embedded in a pillar was found in a certain layer on the top. It seemed that he was not dead yet. Zyman Ching picked it out. This is a woman wearing a police uniform, and she looks pretty good at first glance. Zyman King took her back to the ground and then threw it away. Danielle curiously leaned forward and looked at it. What's wrong with her? Did she suffer a serious internal injury after smashing the building into such a big gap? How about her tiger teeth showed her lips, and she wanted to asterisk blood? Zyman Ching said, not so. Maybe her ability has a defensive effect. Although she received such a heavy blow, the injury is not serious. That is the degree of pain and fainting. Didn't you see that her clothes are in good condition? When Danielle heard the word, she's eyes lit up, and he wanted to rush over. Zyman Ching grabbed her. What are you doing, master? Let me come, let me wake her. Danielle was eager to try, as if the vacuum below had a certain effect on her thinking mode. Fuck off. Zyman Ching directly bounced her out of her head, and then rubbed her stomach. "Sai stomach hurts. Why did I accept such a blood? I feel that the style of Tsingyi sect is getting more and more crooked." You reading www.ukanshu.com. She then looked at Ajani again, who was still eating pies there. Hey, are you so embarrassed to eat someone else's pie? Well, come on, help save her. Zyman said, "My ability is good at destroying people. If I want to save people, I can only turn into a zombie. It's not easy to use it casually." Danielle had already caused her stomach cramps, and she didn't want to develop blood descent casually. What if this policewoman is also a weird style? Think about it carefully. Who would have a pie in his hand when he was beaten up? There is a high probability that this person's brain is abnormal. Ajani looked at the pie in her hand, and then at the policewoman who was dizzy on the ground. She ate the pie in a few bites, rubbing her greasy hands against her clothes. Then she squatted down to save people. After saying goodbye to Chin Yuya, Taosiki and Chin Yuya fled and left the alley as if the big hole on the ground was naturally dealt with, so she didn't need to worry about it. She wrapped herself in the wind and combined with the special equipment on her body, making herself into a pseudo-invisible state. Ordinary people can't find her unless they get too close. She flew out of Erliti in one breath and she was relieved. Fortunately, I run fast. She patted her chest. Shui Retroa. Water retro. You can actually meet 8 evil spirits on the street. A colleague's joking voice came from the headset. If you die in a disaster, you will have a blessing. Would you like to try to buy a lottery ticket? Maybe you will win the lottery. I believe in your evil. With that money, I might as well buy a dry vegetable cake. Taosiki rubbed her belly. It's all Nasati, who acted as a demon early in the morning, which made me burn too much calories. I have to make up. With that, she ran to a cake shop and bought a large dried vegetable cake. 15 yuan a piece. The size is similar to pizza, and the material is quite sufficient. Hearing her eating happily, the colleague was also greedy. Bring me one too. You buy squat this week. Good job. So Taosiki bought another packaged dried vegetable cake, and planned to take it back to her colleague anyway. At the speed of her Yufeng, it didn't take much time to go back and forth. However, on her way back, she suddenly found something wrong. It was a person who was wrapped in a down jacket, wearing a mask and sunglasses, and a sneaky look was not a serious person. The most important thing is that Taosiki discovered that the person stepped on a floor tile while walking. And the floor tile actually lifted up. Although the floor tiles are very old and in disrepair for a long time. Many of them see water and become uneven, however. The floor tiles can only be lifted when the car is over. And the weight of ordinary people can't reach that level. Is this person as heavy as a car? Professional intuition tells Taosiki that this guy definitely has a problem. So she was going to follow along and take a look. After a while, she felt more and more suspicious. So she ran forward and stopped it. "Hello, I am a policeman. I am undergoing a routine inspection. Can I trouble you to show your ID card?" Taosiki showed her ID according to the procedure, while carefully guarding against the other party's sneak attack. Sure enough, the guy who was wrapped in a down jacket in front of him was taken aback for a while and then turned and ran. "I won the prize." Taosiki smiled slightly, her instincts were right. The guy turned around and ran a few steps before he found that his hands, feet and waist were entangled in chains, but in fact, I didn't see anything. Because these were wind chains under Taosiki's control. "Although I don't know who you are, let me go back and do the investigation obediently." Taosiki put away the documents and prepared to take the person away. At this moment the world suddenly changed. All the people walking beside them disappeared in an instant. The speeding cars on the street stopped in place as if time were still. And all the drivers and passengers inside were gone. Within 100 meters, only Taosiki and the down jacket weird were left. Shocked by this sudden scene, Taosiki was slightly distracted. And the down jacket geek took advantage of this opportunity to make a violent win. And actually broke the chain of her wind, Chinese letter. The bulky down jacket also shattered, revealing a girl about 1.6 meters tall. She looks immature, about 15 or 16 years old. Although she is Caucasian, she is very thin with a horse on her chest. And she can't see the weight that can compare with a car. Taosiki wanted to catch her again. But the other party was obviously not a vegetarian either. She suddenly raised a hand, opened a hole in the center of her palm, and a cannonball came out of it. Boom. A big hole was directly blown out of the ground, fortunately. Taosiki reacted quickly and flew into the sky in time. At the same time, she also matched the relevant information in her mind. Corridor Lilith, evolutionary of Maple Leaf Kingdom. A sci-fi warship. What is projected is a kind of air warship in science fiction. Although it looks like a ship, it can actually fly in the air. Wait, can fly. Taosiki suddenly realized something was wrong. But it was too late. Corridor Lily spitting fire on both feet and leaping towards her like a rocket. Taosiki hurriedly lifted into the air. But Corridor lifted into the air faster than her. The two fought fiercely in the air. Corridor fired one after another. And Taosiki cut them off with a wind blade. Her wind blade broke Corridor's protective shield, leaving a line of bone wounds on the latter's body. But Corridor is a battleship, and the body will not bleed even if the body is cut open. And the combat effectiveness will not be reduced at all. Taosiki accidentally missed a shell, although she used her whole body strength to condense a spherical wind shield. She was still blown out by a cannonball. Taosiki fainted during the explosion. And when she regained consciousness, she felt severe pain all over her body. Several bones must have been broken. Fortunately, no internal organs were injured. She often suffered skin injuries of this degree during training. And she was almost used to it, but something is wrong. Although she hadn't opened her eyes yet, Taosiki had already noticed 3 people around her through the wind. "Are you surrounded? Who are these people, huh? This taste is dried vegetable cakes." Taosiki opened his eyes slowly. And the first thing that caught his eye was a very beautiful white girl. There was a small piece of dried vegetable meat on the corner of her mouth. "This guy ate my dry vegetable cake." Taosiki had such a thought in her mind for the first time. At the same time, Ijani, who saw Taosiki open her eyes, also smiled. "Oh. You are awake, it is great, are you?" Taosiki stood up and sat up. Although she suffered some injuries to her ribs, leg bones, and shoulders, she could bear it. After sitting up, she saw the other 2 people clearly. On the right-hand side is a beautiful white woman www. Novel MTL. Related information popped up in her mind in an instant. Danielle Quinn, the daughter of U.S. real estate magnate Charlotte Quinn, is a suspected evolver but whose abilities are unknown. Then, standing next to a Janny on the left-hand side was a beautiful woman of yellow race. She could not remove her eyes after only one glance. So beautiful. She immediately recognized that the beauty in front of her should be the love in the Cartoonist Dancing Love. And she is also a comic partner with the newly promoted 8 Evil Chin Yuyao. However, she knows that Ximon's love is not because of Chin Yuyao, but because she herself is a fan of Dragon Babu. Since being transferred to Xiakong City, she has been thinking about going to Wuking for an autograph, but she did not expect to meet her today. Although I paid the price of broken bones, I really can't say whether this is luck or misfortune. Click and give a good comment, higher the score. The faster the update. It is said that the new full marks are found at the end of the beautiful wife. The new revision and upgrade address of the mobile station, data and bookmarks are synchronized with the computer station. And fresh reading without ads.